start the live stream button. I want to see if we go live here. Yep, we're starting. And we'll just have
All
to
right.
wait for Joe to show up. That's all we can do. Okay, so we're live here. Here I am Saturday night. Yep. Just went
Here I am
live
too.
like, yep, man. Jay's here with me. Joe's not quite here yet. We'll see if he shows up. He's supposed to be. I'm sure he will be. You never know. He could be having mama issues over there as well. May not
Yeah.
quite be home yet. We just don't know yet. We'll have to wait out and see. I'm sure he'll show up. I've sent him an
I
invite, so he's welcome to come in once he fires it up and sees it there. And if he
hope to see
PMs
you,
me and
Joe.
says, "Hi, I'm here," then I'll bring him in right away. So that's where we're going to go. But Jay is here with me. So we
Yep.
have our United Kingdom guy here. Well, anyhow, you've been on the show before, and it's nice to have you back.
Yeah, I always enjoy coming on the show. One of my passions is sort of talking about this type of stuff and trying to work out the truth behind the whole mess that we've all been born into. So I'm
Oh
glad you
yeah,
had me on, friend.
it's quite a mess. But I did get a kick out of making that video I did earlier this morning. Although
Oh
our
yes.
moon man, our God worshiping moon man there, Monday, our goddess,
Absolute spaceman.
yeah.
Absolute spaceman, Bill. Crazy.
Well, first off, right in people's faces, Monday stands for moon, which stands for goddess, which is the
Yeah.
female goddess, which is basically, here's a guy who's speaking up and not talking about anything significant, who's pretending to be in the manosphere side,
Oh
who's
yeah.
using a name that actually worships women.
Yeah. And then the thing I realized, it's also a name linked to astrology. And if you're remotely awake, you know that the elites love their astrology. Their Saturn and their planet and their moon worship.
Yes. So, it's just sort of right there in your face. I mean, he's flinging it in your face. But, today, when I did that video today, I don't go to his channel. That's the problem. He did that
Don't blame
video
you.
the other day. And because I'm still subscribed to the guy, because, it's sort of one of the things you subscribe to your enemy. So you
Oh
see
yeah.
what they're doing, but you don't necessarily watch what they're doing.
Hmm.
The title had caught my attention, but I didn't look into this morning. And then I thought I was hearing things, and I had to back it up to hear it again.
You're right.
To realize the guy was that stupid. He actually said what he said.
He's almost as bad as the mainstream media dumbing his listeners down, right? He's dumbing his audience down day by day, saying more stupid things.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I,
that's sort of it right there. Go ahead.
I can't believe, he could come out with anything more stupid than what he came out with before. But lo and behold, what's it now? You
Uh,
know, you might be an incel if your parents have no children or something to
right.
that effect.
If your parents have no children, then obviously your future, you're not gonna have no children. But to me, it's like, really? Hold on. Your parents have no children. So therefore your outlook is to not have children. And I'm like, hold on a minute, back up. Your parents have no children. No, then they're not parents because you don't exist.
Yeah, as I think, he's so obsessed with trying to put that on the parents and put it on the child that he just says this stuff automatically now. It's in the subconscious mind. Got to mention the parents in the video. Got to mention the childhood. Check, check. He's got like
Yeah,
boxes
he's
on the
been
page.
told to make sure that his focus is parents and children, parents and children. So he had to make sure he got that in there right away. Okay, and it's belittling stupid because, but
Yeah.
the one thing I liked about the article is it mentioned all the countries that are being affected
Oh yeah.
by this.
Yes. Whenever I heard about that thing, I was, thinking to myself, all these countries are in cahoots with each other. So of course, they're going to condone research that suggests this bullshit theory.
Well, yeah, it's a complete bullshit theory. So, the only way he could make heads or tails out of what he said that would be Okay, so it's adopted parents, right? So if it's
Yeah.
adopted parents, so they adopted their child. But okay, so we got a couple that adopted a child. Oh, well, I'm
Well,
sorry, you've been adopted by this undesirable couple, so therefore you will not be having your children, your child that you adopted won't have a
yeah.
child themselves. Because we've already decided this is sort of like the baby in the picture. We got this
Mm.
infant baby that we've already told you what the future of that baby's going to be because it was born premature. Well, you know how long premature babies have been being born? And I'll bet you there's hundreds of thousands of normies that were
Yeah.
premature at birth that have a female in their life, and some of them even have kids, right?
Definitely. Yeah. Especially the women,
Oh yeah,
more than
especially
likely.
the women. But you know that I found that so hilarious. Okay, they're going to the extremes to go around the social engineering.
Yeah. Oh, it's completely mad, man. But at least the governments are now acknowledging the problem. They're right. They're coming out and saying, that there's a problem with people unable to reproduce, whereas in the past they would not really talk about it. So now they're
Oh
actually
yeah,
starting to acknowledge it. But of course, they're pulling the wool over people's eyes with this scientific research, which leads you down the rabbit hole, down a wild goose chase. But
well it does. You know,
at least they're
Ron
acknowledging the problem.
Ron says, but to be fair, he was only talking about the only children, right? Yeah, but the problem is, he says, if your parents never had children,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when he says, if your parents never had children, so if your parents couldn't have children, I don't care how you
Yeah.
word that. Then you have to say, how would you have a parent then? Because you haven't been born yet.
Mm.
So are we talking maybe before you were born, you picked out your parents and they haven't had children yet?
Oh, that's a good one.
I was just thinking about that other clown that said that we signed this
Sign
contract
the
before we
contract
were
before
born.
birth. Yes,
Exactly.
yes, I thought the same exact same thing. I had him in my mind there too. Just before you said that. Great minds think alike, I guess.
Yeah, so I had that thought go through my head. Maybe that's what he was preferring to.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
had the exact same thought. That's crazy.
which is still absolutely insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. It's nonsense. It truly is. Like,
Oh, you know, when I first heard him say it, I thought, wait a minute, what? And I backed up, and he couldn't have said what I know I heard, and he said it.
yeah. Yeah. The first time I fucking heard it, I was like, what the fuck? What is this? This guy can't be fucking serious.
You know, and then I thought, there ain't nobody getting that. I said, never mind, shut up, Bill. There's all kinds of people that'll believe that bullshit.
Yeah. Maybe not on your channel, but on his channel, certainly.
You know, so I'm like, oh man, the dumbing down process is, oh yes, he's steering the
Well,
manosphere right down the rabbit hole of insanity and stupidness.
yeah, but as you were saying before, I think a lot of this guy's audience are very young, probably around my age. And, most people my age are, the dumbest, really. They've been socially engineered the worst, you know.
Unfortunately, I
Rather than
know
when
you're
they have been.
correct. Yeah, and sad thing about it is I do know you're correct about that.
Yeah, because I've worked with people from a variety of age groups, and I get along with them, and I like them. But for intelligent conversation, the people around my age are, mostly idiots. Like I have to go and talk to maybe a 40-year-old guy, if I want to say something intelligent for him to respond, unless I want to talk about, what you're eating for dinner, if you're going to go to the McDonald's or the kebab shop or,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck, I mean, it's the level of conversations, a bit different, like, if you know what I mean,
Oh, I know
of the
exactly
old and the
what you're
young.
saying. And you know, it's insanity because we should never have to go here. We shouldn't have to worry about this type of stuff, but here we are. We're in a world filled full of idiots, and it's unbelievable that how people are just going to go right on. You know, and I was thinking about, matter of fact, Warren had called me today, and I was talking with Warren, and
But yeah,
yeah, and he was talking about freaking, oh, you know, Blue Skies Media over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, him. Yeah. What was
Yeah.
one saying?
Now I think Warren and I are both on agreement with this. From the more I watch, the more I think the guy's actually a TFLer who's a sound asleep to what's going on around him.
Oh yeah.
Who all of his possession is, he's obsessed with getting a woman since he lost the wife, right?
Yeah.
And he's asleep to what's going on around him. And Monday, Forever Alone Monday, saw Patsy.
Right. What do
And
you mean, sort of Patsy?
yeah, saw Patsy, saw somebody that was not awake
Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah.
and is taking advantage of him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think kind of.
unfortunately, and if that's true and he stays idolizing Monday, Forever Alone Monday, oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's almost what happened with me. Whenever I first left that comment, when are you going to do a live stream with Steve Hooker? He was trying to tell me, Steve Hooker was a crazy, guy who thought he was part of the, New World Order or some shit like that. So, he was trying to make me into like a useful idiot or whatever, and just ignore Steve Hooker and listen to his videos instead, because obviously, New World Order doesn't exist and Steve's a crazy guy.
Well, yeah,
That's
see,
what Monday basically said to me.
New World Order don't exist. That's why we got all these big wigs on TV that's been telling you in your face for years, right?
Yeah,
They've been saying it right in your face for years. And all the evidence, you're surrounded, it's everywhere. For you to miss it, you literally have to have your hand over your eyes.
and for example, Operation Northwood, I think that occurred during the time that Kennedy was, president, and it was him and McNamara that stopped that. But there's been declassified documents that pretty much prove that the FBI and the CIA wanted to commit terrorism on the American people by blowing up buildings and blame it on Cuba to start, nationalism and a war with Castro.
Yes.
Operation Northwood is a lot more provable than 9/11. I think both are true, both are provable, but Operation Northwood's got a lot of evidence out there for it. You should look that up.
Well, that does. The other one that had a lot of evidence that they blew smoke up everybody's ass was the Oklahoma City bombing.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
one I like to say that we had the world's biggest vacuum cleaner bomb because the
I,
truck was parked outside the building, and the building, the walls blew out into the street, blew windows out across the street and stuff. So I thought,
yeah.
well, this must have been the world's most powerful vacuum bomb. It sucked the wall right out of the building, didn't it, huh?
Yeah, right. I've never heard of the Oklahoma bombing, but yeah. I mean, I think it's very unlikely with the level of security and things that exist that these things can happen unnoticed. I think whenever they can arrest the average Joe for, making certain Twitter posts or whatever, certain posts online or phone calls, that they can clearly stop people from committing these atrocities. I think all terrorism is basically backed by the government, to create an enemy. It's all sort of smoke and mirrors to keep you in a state of fear and panic.
Pretty much is,
You
yeah.
don't think logically.
People don't. They don't think clearly. They don't, they want to believe what's fed to them. A lot of people are scared to believe what we're talking about to be true because
Yeah.
it's easier to accept the lie than it is to accept the truth.
Oh yeah. I mean, human nature is this. Human nature is about nearly 99% of people would rather accept a convenient truth than, a convenient lie than an upsetting truth. This right here is a very upsetting truth that can depress many people and fuck them up, really. So, I understand why people when they believe the convenient lie, and I don't blame them for it.
Well,
People only,
yeah. Look at TFL within itself or in the manosphere. Guys
yeah,
want to hold on so desperately, thinking that if they just go along with what society's telling them, that somehow one day it'll all just change for them.
yeah, or even people want to believe they're MGTOW and not TFL. That's believing a convenient and that's not believing the convenient truth or what I mean. Sorry, they're not going to accept truth because it's inconvenient for them that they live in TFL, so they go along with this lie that they're MGTOW. A lot of them MGTOW.
Well, yeah, they're going their own way. The only thing I could say for a TFL that would say, I want to go my own way, is you're not going your own way from a woman. You're going your own way because there ain't no woman to give you the time of day.
Yeah, MGTOW's like MSTOW, right? Men sent their own way.
And the sad thing is, it's like I told people before. Matter of fact, my last live stream, I talked about this a few times already. the core of everything, and when it comes to NWO, is the dating arena.
Yeah, the family unit. I recall you saying that, and that was, I agreed entirely. That's the most important unit in the West, which is being destroyed.
Yeah, and that is
And
the core. That's the thing. I
yeah,
mean,
it's the core.
when you was paying attention to Forever Alone Monday, reading that bullshit article, the
Yeah.
countries was right there in your face in that article. Look how many
Mm.
countries are affected by this, the dating scene. They gave you
Yeah.
the whole list.
Yeah, and I think like now this is more my theory. It kind of goes away from the social engineering, but I believe no fault divorce plays a big component in the whole thing, because I think the two European countries with some of the least amount of male suicides is Italy and Greece, right? And Italy and Greece have the least divorces in Europe, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like one woman, one man. It's not this polygamy you have going on where you get one man who sort of screws one woman, has a child with her, get divorced, she goes wigtail or whatever, then he gets a second wife who's never had kids before, that type of thing. That doesn't really happen in Italy as much because, or Greece as much, because divorce is a lot more uncommon. Divorce is polygamy, really, just
Well,
not at the same time.
it's you still got some good beliefs if you go over to the Philippines and get out of Manila and go across the islands to the deeper islands. You'll find
Right?
out that over there you don't get divorced because there is no divorce, and it is one man, one woman, and it's for life.
Yeah, that's how it should be. That's how it's been, I believe, for hundreds of years. So,
But
I mean, there's a
when
reason for it being
you
like that.
have
Yeah.
no fault divorce, what you've done is you set everybody up for failure. And the guys are the ones that really fail because all the perks are given to the female gender.
Yes, yeah. No fault divorce is only for the woman. It's always the man's
Yes.
fault, right?
Oh, everything's the man's fault. It don't matter. I mean, if you were working and bringing home all the bread and butter and blah 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 for years, and your woman goes out when you're at work and beats somebody else because that's not hard,
Yeah.
right? They're all approaching
No.
her. She
No,
picks
yeah.
out her necks behind your back and leads him on while you're at work and blah blah blah. Now she's going to replace you with him. You ain't gonna
Hmm.
know it until she's already got you in the cleaners.
Yeah, and that situation's enabled, right? Because the women get the children in 90% of cases. So, I mean, I was good friends with a guy growing up whose mum, I think, got divorced at 30, and then she just kept. So she got divorced. She kind of met up with the old guy she knew from school whenever she was younger, and she just kept him as a friend.
Yeah,
Went out with him, probably hooked up whenever she saw fit, but she had no intentions of marrying the guy or having any more kids with him. She had 4 kids with the first guy, the Chad. She divorced and she was done. You know, she was happy enough. She was a
yeah.
proper
She's
WGTOW.
she's got her kids now. She can throw him away, and he can go out and break his butt and live in a cardboard box and feed
Yep.
her his money for the next 18, 20 something years to the four kids are growing up anyhow. And
Oh,
if she went after alimony, well, you'll be feeding her money for the rest of your life because you naturally owe her your money because what? Oh, that's right, because she's a goddess. Why do you think Monday Forever Alone uses Monday? Monday, Moon Day,
Monday.
goddess.
Yeah, yeah, 100% on the money, man. But I mean, why would the woman, after she's got her kids and her money, why would she really need a man beyond a hookup or a friendship?
Well,
I
she,
mean,
she ain't got to worry about sex, and they think, well, it's because women don't like sex like men do. That's a crock of shit.
no,
Women
no,
like
that's
sex. Women like sex every bit as much as men do. The difference
yeah,
is
been
women
wired.
get it anytime they want it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That is
that's
the
very
only
true.
difference is women don't go without. They get it anytime they want it.
Yeah, I remember one really sick thing where this woman who came to my workplace, she had all these orbiters, and then she was telling these orbiters stories about how she'd had sex with her boyfriend and how he was coming too quickly or whatever, and she wasn't finding it very enjoyable because it wasn't lasting enough. And then these dudes they were so desperate they would just listen to that story. I'd be like, what the fuck are you telling me that story for? I don't want to, I don't want to hear that type of shit. because I have a bit of fucking self-respect.
Oh yeah, she's all mad because what? He's going off too fast, and she wants more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the women my age are a bit more honest about that. Some of them, anyway. Probably not most, but some.
Well, for a lot of guys, they don't ever get lucky enough to experience that anyhow. But they've got everything. Everything's out of order, as you know already. The
Yeah,
dating scene is completely flipped upside down, twisted inside out. And I've said it
yeah,
for years now that people don't know what they're doing in the dating scene. Okay, and they get mad at me and say, "Well, yeah, I do." No, you don't. Okay, no, you don't. Very few people left on this planet right now actually know what they're doing in the dating scene, and that's not very many.
yeah. Like at most, maybe 30%, but that could be an overestimation. But
Yeah.
I'm just being an optimist for myself here. I'm just gonna say 30% chance, you know.
Well, that's why the problem is so in your face, and so many men are suffering is because of this very thing. And
Yeah.
and it's even sadder when I have to say the truth as it is. You're really not missing nothing, guys. You can't get a woman in your life. What are you missing? The chance to be abused? The chance to be used and thrown away?
Hmm.
That's really what you're missing out on. You're missing out on a chance to be treated lower than a piece of dirt on the ground, have your money spent behind your back, get hauled into no fault divorce and be raped of all your belongings, and then pay her for the rest of your life for the privilege of treating you lower than dirt and basically raping you of all your possessions.
Yeah, that's definitely the fate for a lot of men who get married. Maybe even the majority nowadays, at least 50% of them. But on the other hand, my dad's still married to my mother, and they've been for 28 years, and that's a happy marriage. He's a success in that regard. I'd like something like that.
Well, you don't see that too much anymore. Okay, and unfortunately, the reality is we're
Oh yeah,
down to a point now in society where people just don't know what the hell they're doing at all. I mean, people that watched my one video with the clown on it, they got to hear a little bit about what's going on with my wife's mother
oh
and all the
yeah,
shit
yeah,
that's going on there. Okay.
yeah. Feel bad for you, man. That's a lot of shit right there.
Oh, it is. She thought she was smart the other day, and she was trying to get me to answer a PM on the messenger on Facebook, as she was using
Yeah,
her underage daughter's Facebook account. And
yeah.
you know what
What
that
kind
was
of bitch
about?
does that?
Because she PMs me about using her daughter's account and tries to get me to answer so she can run right to the authorities and say, "He's saying this to my daughter who's underage," to try to get
Yeah,
me in trouble. That is why I'd be in jail. I can't move, right?
complete trash, man. No honesty, no integrity with these people. Using every dirty trick in the book, man. Complete fucking trash.
Yeah. It's
In
just
a
it's
way, like,
it's low, but if I didn't see through the shit and somebody was angry and typed her back on that messenger, that would have done exactly what she wanted it to do.
yeah, you would have had the cops at your door.
So it just shows how under low handed she is. She'll pull every trick out in the book and every lie out of her anal to
Yeah,
get some guy in trouble just because she's not getting her want.
oh yeah. I mean, it happened to my grandfather. After his wife died, my grandmother, he went out with a second girl for a while, and then as he was dying of cancer, this woman took his bank account, his bank card without his knowledge, and was withdrawing money in his bank 2 weeks before he died. She was stealing his money 2 weeks before he died without his knowledge. So she was stealing money from his bank account that was supposed to go towards his inheritance to
Yeah.
us without his consent. Completely fucking evil.
Well, then I've got a commenter here. Elephant Man says, no one wants to talk about the gay agenda.
The gay agenda. Well, we can talk about that. Like, I mean,
The
I think it's
gay, the gay transsexual agenda is part of the agenda to divide the genders. It is to
Yeah.
furtherly destroy society. You know, if
Ah.
you speak up against feminist women for years, you got in trouble as a man. But you know what's happening with feminist women who are speaking up against the gay man or the transsexual man now? The government's attacking the feminist woman and shutting her up and standing by the transgender.
Yeah. And the whole global homo thing.
Yes.
It's further to destroy birth rates and cause depopulation. I was watching an advert today, and I saw these two homosexual women in the jewelry ads for, and I thought homosexuality had nothing to do with buying jewelry.
Yeah. Well, that's it in a nutshell. It's so easy. It's in your face. Mass confusion. We have 50, 60 something genders. No, we don't. That's a crock of shit. You have two genders, and every now, and I mean now and again, you might have a morphodite, somebody born with both sex organs, but that's it. You only have
Oh,
two genders outside of that, okay? And they're going to tell you got 50 something genders. So I guess if you'd like to be a snake attractor sexy and want to be a
yeah.
tractor, you could, I suppose you could be a tractor then, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the gender sentence has gotten to such a elaborate stage that so many people actually, as you say before in the past, Bill, they actually think men and women are different species.
Yeah.
So plenty of women think that, they're better off getting with a woman who can understand them rather than this monstrous man who's gonna fucking has no emotions and is gonna rape them or kill them someday. Because that's what the news, suggests that men just do for no reason. They
Well,
go out and
yeah.
rape and kill for no
Well,
reason.
that's why I said,
Um,
it's one of these situations where we've had male bashing going on for what, 30, 20, 30 years now in the media. And it's been so
yeah,
engraved in people's heads that females actually, because of being placed up on a pedestal, look down on men as if that somehow, and then you got all these damn goddesses like Monday worshiping the moon goddess. And Isis was a goddess draw female right out of the playbook. I don't even like to call it the Bible, right out of the script playbook that the elite used against the people. Okay? And that once again was a female and calling her a
yeah.
goddess. And what do the elite think they are? They think they're gods.
Hmm.
They've let it go to their head, their power, and they actually believe they are gods. And we are nothing. And we are allowing women the same mentality because this is what power and greed does. This is what happens when you place one gender above another gender on a regular basis, and all the double standards and everything we've watched that happens.
Yeah.
The women's heads swell up and they become filled full of entitlement issues, believe they're owed to, and look down on the man because all they've ever known is men are rapists, predators, vile. I mean, come on, the truth is the truth. Steve could have never said it any better than what he did. When Steve
Yeah.
Polka made that statement saying, look, women hate men and men hate men.
Oh yeah. That
That
was
is
such a
true.
statement. Such a statement.
You can't get any more truth than that, you know? And Dave's
Yeah.
got Jacob Rothschild. Jacob Rothschild refers to himself as the Lord. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And so does, Baron David Rothschild. Think about it. He's using the word Baron before his name. And Dave's got Jacob Rothschild refers to himself as the Lord. Yes, exactly. These
Yeah. But in
people
a way, these
believe they're
people.
gods, they're lords, they're high,
Mhm.
they're parasites is what they are.
I suppose though they have so much power over the material world, like you can't deny that they have more power over the earth than seemingly God does at the moment, right?
Yeah.
With all of the evil going on, they have absolute power. So, and that by that logic, they're right to call themselves gods. I'm sure that's what they think. That's how they justify it in a way.
Well,
As
when you got so many people that are cowards. because they willed their power because they had their power, but who gave them their power? Us, the people.
Yeah, I mean,
Bunch of
I was watching.
cowards. And I hate to call the population of people around the world cowards, but they really are.
Yeah, I was watching that guy Dan Pena, who Steve Hoka and that guy Staying Sane Amid the Insanity were talking about a while back, and he's living a dream. He gets to call poor people pieces of shit, worthless dumbasses, any vulgar name you can think of, and these people seeking to get rich pay him to do it. But
Yeah.
he's got the same line of thinking. If you want to see what the wealthy and powerful think, just go watch some of Dan Pena's videos and watch what he says out of his mouth. But the thing is with Dan Pena is in his videos he says he was abused as a child by his parents. They would like lock him in a locker until he pissed himself day after day, end on end. So this guy had some real childhood abuse, but this guy isn't an incel or a TFL. He's far from it. So whenever people like Monday say that childhood abuse can, make you an incel, in all honesty, a lot of these elites, I believe, abuse their children just like Dan Pena, so that they lose their empathy and so that they stop caring about other people. It turns them into maybe a more psychopath, and that could make them more successful. But I don't think it's a hindrance in getting a woman anyway.
I don't think so, no. And for me, it's like, I don't really, when you look at how people behave today, thanks to social engineering, and how
Yeah,
people are, I mean, you can clearly see it in your face, how people are treating people. And
yeah,
online is worse than anything else. Because online actually brings out the worst of people.
yeah,
Because you know how many people are big and brave because they're hiding behind their computer? And
yeah.
will
Behind the
hurl
mask.
all these, yeah, will hurl all these insults and be big, bad, tough, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
But in real life, they wouldn't say what they'll say to somebody online for fear their teeth would be in their stomach because they already
totally.
know they're in the wrong.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
and they want to say, well, we're more connected than ever. Yeah, but through that more connected than ever, you became more divided than ever.
oh, it's no doubt that's true.
And the internet has only done one thing, really. Outside of allowing us to have knowledge we wouldn't have had otherwise, and meet people we could have never known otherwise, like I've met Jay here, right? Okay. But outside of that, it's also brought the worst people out.
Yeah, and they have a really twisted philosophy of justifying it. The main religion today is atheism, and that condones things like natural selection and the selfish gene theory, which it suggests that all people are inherently selfish and only care for themselves. So therefore, you should be inherently selfish and only care for yourself and treat others like shit because they would do the same to you because of the selfish gene theory, which is bullshit. But that's what people use to justify treating others like shit.
But
Things
that's
like the
not a
selfish.
justification. It just shows they're not using their heads. Because
No, they're
they
letting
already
these people
know
take
they don't
form.
want to be treated that way themselves.
Yeah, but they just say the selfish gene theory. That's all the proof I need. But who gave them the selfish gene theory?
The
Richard
people at the
Dawkins.
top, yep. The,
Yeah, probably paid by people at the top.
exactly.
Yeah,
Charlotte is,
can imagine.
Charlotte Isby, yeah. Okay, Charlotte Isby, I believe was the name. She was in the
Okay,
Ronald Reagan administration here in the United States, way up at the top of the school system. And she
right.
wrote books called The Dumbing Down of America. She
Okay,
was cut down by a bunch of politicians who later backed up and come up and apologized to her. She talked
right.
about this. She talked about an agent that came into the school and
Yeah.
told her he was going to go into this classroom, and when he walked out of the classroom, all the students would become atheists within a week, and
Right.
that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
It was all
Sick
engineered.
story.
It was all deliberately engineered, and people
Yeah.
fell right down the rabbit hole. The ultimate selfishness, and that's why people hear me talk about care.
Yeah, care is one of the most important things in the equation because one cannot rise alone. We must all rise together, or else we squash like ants.
Yeah, if we had all rise together, they would have no power.
Yeah, an ant colony is a lot more stronger than just one ant, you know.
Yeah, and but see, care is one of the most important things of all. And getting
That's right.
people to have that care again is like, I'm telling you, people are so stuck on their own selfish selves and don't
Yeah,
want to take the responsibility of checking their own behaviors and doing what's right onto the other people. They don't want that. That means self work, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah. For example, a lot of the men who have been divorced by women, would support the Sharia law and the Muslims, but that's because the women don't care about the men, so the men have stopped caring about the women. But
Basically,
that's all
yeah.
been socially engineered.
It has. And it's only getting worse. It's not getting better. And it's not going to get
No,
any better. That's just it. You're
it's not
looking
going to
at
get any better.
what you're looking at is the fall of society, and it's going to be a domino effect. And I mean, the only good thing
Yeah,
that Monday Forever Alone Monday did was read that list of countries.
yeah. That was the best part of the video, I thought.
Yeah, that was really the only good part of that entire video is when he read the list of countries, because
Yeah,
what's happening is you're going to watch society fall, and it's going to be the domino effect. And did you see the list of countries? When
oh
I
yeah,
tipped one domino over, the next, the next, the next, the next, the next.
yeah,
Well, there's your list of countries right in your face. They're all going to go down with the domino effect.
yeah. I think you're right on that. All at the same time, so nobody sees it coming.
No, they're not going to see it coming until it's too late.
Yeah,
People like
definitely.
us, we get up here and we try to warn people. I've been up here trying to tell people for a long time. You
Yeah,
know,
it's a tough job,
it really is. I got a
especially
couple
for
of
that long.
people. I got a couple of people in the chat that's been here for a long time. Ron's been here for a long time.
Yeah,
Dave's been,
Ron's very
yes,
intelligent man.
Dave's been around for a long time. And Dave's here in the chat.
Yeah,
Ron's here in the chat tonight. And these
yeah, Dave's
guys
very
both been
intelligent
around
too.
for a long time. And an electronic man, he's here. Greg, and he's been over there.
Yeah,
He's been around for quite a while himself. I don't think he's been around as long as he ain't been around as long as Ron or Dave, but he's been here a while.
yeah.
Okay?
I was talking to him in one of your live streams. He was saying some pretty valuable stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, Greg really means well, and he's educated himself as he goes. He's like all of us. There's none of us that was not. You got to be living reality. The reality is all of us at one time or another was
Yeah,
naive as hell and sound asleep to what's going on around us. And that's everybody
yeah,
that's in this chat right now at one time or another was that way.
yeah.
Okay, but
So
through
definitely.
educating yourself and being aware of what's going on around you, and then of course, one of the kicks that helped people is the fact that they did live TFL, because as sad as it is to say, guys who live TFL, the
Mhm.
percentage of them will tell themselves, why the hell is this going on? Like I
Yeah.
did. And they'll start looking for why. And
Uh
in
huh.
doing so, they'll get woke up to what's really going on around them.
Yeah. And that I'm not sure what benefit having all this knowledge does for us, though. Sorry to
Well,
say.
at least you're not going to be a sucker that's going to go down the hole. I mean, because the reality is, okay, I
Yeah.
understand you, Jay. You're 21 years old. You have a whole life ahead of you yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'd love to have a woman in your life and have children of your own and have a life like everybody else. But at the
Yeah.
same chance, but the same token, if you're living in reality, you realize how toxic women are, don't you?
Yeah. The majority definitely.
So then you have to question yourself, is it worth it? If you're going to be treated lower than dirt by her because she can, and she will, then is it worth it?
I don't think it's worth getting with them women, no. But if you're lucky enough to get 20 or 30% of women that will treat you right, then I'll go for it. I mean, I might have
Yeah,
had options in the past to get with really, really bad sort of psychopathic low end women who you could just tell were bad news, but I chose not to because I knew it would end in ruin. But I've had no chance of a decent woman like.
Mark Carthony took a dig at Mark Passio. Well, there's going to be people that's going to attack Mark Passio, okay? There's no doubt about that. No different than they've been attacking me for years, but they're not going to affect Mark Passio. No more than they're going to affect me. I've got tough skin. You can't come up here and do what I'm doing and not have tough skin. If you come up here and start speaking out and telling raw truth and trying to help people, you better be ready to be attacked. You better be ready to be called every name in the book. You better be ready to have every underhand low trick thrown at you, because it's going to happen. You're not getting around it.
Yeah, very correct.
And what's he saying? Okay, Sarah McCarthy from Renegade.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Said he's okay. Said he looks like a Jew, but I'm not even going to go there, because
No, that's
to me that's just wrong anyhow. Because I understand we have Jews in high positions, okay, but
yeah.
I'm going to say it again. I do not recognize the race. I recognize names and faces.
I think he's an Italian with a name like Passio. I mean, the Italians have black hair and brown eyes. Just like the Jews do. So
Yeah,
they kind of do look a bit similar. I don't think he's a Jew, but I haven't looked into it. But it wouldn't matter anyway. It wouldn't matter, as you say yourself, Bill.
well,
I
I
think
try to get people out of that mindset, because you're going to blame innocent people when you get hooked
exactly.
into that mindset. And you will
Yeah,
prosecute innocent people because you got a mindset that these are the people, these are the people. It's like if we said all of the whites are the only white people are responsible for this. And you
yeah.
already know whites are being attacked as it is.
Hmm.
Okay? But that wouldn't be true. And if I said only Muslims, or if I said only black, or if I said only, Asians, whatever, it wouldn't be true.
No, I think at the top there's maybe 10,000 people most across the world who are in on this whole scheme, and there's definitely more than 10,000 Jews in the world. So
Yeah.
mathematically, it just can't be correct.
No, I mean, compared to the number of people alive in this world, it's only a handful of people.
Maybe 10,000 tops,
Yeah.
maybe less. And even in that 10,000, not all of them 10,000 are going to be Jews. Maybe only some of them, maybe half. I don't know. But not all of them are going to be Jews. I have no idea how many.
Yeah. And I've said that for a long time to people. I do not want to go into the race thing, because I would
No.
rather see it follow the money,
Aye, names and
follow the
faces.
trail, and look for the
Names and
names and
faces.
faces.
Because otherwise, you just look like a racist nutcase. Kill the Jews. I mean, you're not going to get any support. That's evil. That's fucking evil.
Yeah, this is wrong. That's why I said follow the money, find it, follow the trail of
Um,
corruption, follow
yeah,
it and follow it and follow it and follow it, and start taking names and faces. Names and
people don't
faces.
really people don't care that much about other people, but at the same time, if you're going to go around suggesting genocide or something, they're going to care about that.
Well,
we're not that
yeah,
evil yet that we're going to condone that type of crime. Okay.
you want to get the right people. For all these wars,
Yeah.
we've always been prosecuting the wrong people. Not that we didn't
Yeah.
get some bad guys along the way, but you never got to the head of the snake, ever. And if you're ever going to get to the head of the snake, then you got to keep chasing names and faces, following the corruption and following the money. You got to get
Yeah.
off this race kick. I don't care whether they're Jew or they're Muslim. I don't care, because I
Yeah.
want the actual people behind it.
I mean, I can name some, white, European Christian families that are complicit in this whole mess. That doesn't mean we should go out and kill all of the white Christians, I can name you a white Christian involved, in NWO. Doesn't mean we should kill all the white Christians, right? Well,
Oh
publicly a
yeah.
white Christian. Probably isn't a Christian. He's probably a Satanist or something. No true Christian would
Oh,
dabble
I
in that.
understand. I understand. That's like I understand what Ron's saying, but that's not
Why,
the
what's
point.
Ron saying?
Okay, well, Ron is saying following the money isn't a good argument against the Jews being controlled to the New World Order. Okay, but see, that's
Mm,
getting stuck in one paradigm. Okay,
yeah.
this is so deep, and that's still getting stuck in one paradigm. I understand they invented the money, but I also understand right now the root that's running so many corrupt people is that money.
Right. I mean,
You get up to the top and you go past even in the pyramid. Rothschild's right up sort of towards the top. Okay,
yeah.
you need to rise above the Rothschilds and find out who's giving the Rothschild their orders.
Yeah.
And then if there's somebody giving the people that's giving the Rothschild orders, you need to find out who the people are that's giving them people the orders. Till you get to
Right.
the top of the pyramid. That's
Yeah.
what
I
I'm
think
talking about. I'm not
I,
talking about staying stuck in one spot because I don't care. Because as long as you stay stuck in one spot, you're not going to get to the top of the pyramid. You're going to be stuck down here in this level and never rise any further than that. And you'll always lose because your real enemy keeps staying hid.
I mean, I understand Ron's argument, right? Israel do have closed borders. I think that's one of the only Western countries that have closed borders. But I
Yeah.
think Israel have like a considerable Muslim population anyway at the
Well,
moment.
I do agree with what Ron's saying, and I understand his argument. Okay.
Yeah.
My problem is that argument's going to leave you stuck in one spot.
Yeah, but just because they have closed borders, I mean, the West might close the borders whenever whites become like 40% or 30%. They might. We don't know for sure.
Well, right now, the borders ain't going to get closed. It's deliberately left
No.
open to finish bringing down the United States. Right now, what you got
Yes.
is this little dinky country that we're not allowed to boycott. We all know what it
Yeah.
is, okay?
Yeah. I just
Okay,
mentioned this.
controlling the United States, telling the
Yeah.
United States what to do, and the so-called puppets of the United States are all on their knees. Yes, sirree, boss. Yes, sirree, boss.
Yeah. They might all get Israeli passports once the ship has been set on fire and it's all burnt already.
It's
They might
just
get a nice deal.
absolutely ridiculous. If I could go up the pyramid, I would rise above the Rothschilds. Who's telling the Rothschilds what to do? Okay, then I would go to them and see if they're getting their orders from somebody else, and then move up the line until you get to the final spot where nobody's giving the orders. That's the one making all the calls. Now you're going to get to the real people.
Yeah.
Yes, now I agree with what he's saying there. It is possibly an ET. I wouldn't put it past that at all with the research I have behind me. That I totally agree with Ron. But you know what? Even if it is an extraterrestrial or another life form, a different life form than we're used to, that's calling the shots, well, then we need to figure out how to exterminate that life form, don't we?
I was was really skeptical of the whole alien idea, but then I heard from another YouTuber, he said he was making a conspiracy video on the reptilians, and then on his Facebook he got harassed and messaged by this reptilian guy saying, "We can see you," right after he made the video like 10 years ago. So that made me stop and question and think, is there more to this than I was
Well,
originally thinking?
the only thing I'm going to tell you is this, okay? You got to really use your head on this one, okay? We've all been lied to our entire lives. And some of
Right.
the biggest tools, the biggest lies have been religion. Okay, and
Mm,
unfortunately, you live on a planet that's filled full of. You're going to say, well, ain't no such thing as an ET, right? Well, let's look around you. Trees are
right.
alive, plants are
Yeah.
alive, ants are alive, bugs are
Okay.
alive, mosquitoes are alive, birds are alive, fleas are alive, fish is alive, elephants, dogs, cats, zebras, lions. Okay, do I need to go on? You are surrounded with life form after life form after life form. So,
Right.
what is so hard to wrap your mind around the fact that there could be another life form you know nothing about?
Well, I just personally, I would argue, we should be able to, all these different life forms, they look different, right? So if we saw a different life form, it wouldn't look like us, it would look different. But nobody, well,
Well,
very
but
few
they
people
put
have
the
saw
image
this
in.
differently.
These people, I mean, our society has put that image in our head. Come on. They drew what this alien should look like. And they put it
Yeah,
all over the media. They put it in all these pictures around the world for everybody to see. Okay?
right, yeah,
Could it look like that? Maybe. Could it not look like that at all? Yeah. We don't know. Have you met one yourself? Okay?
no,
So
no,
unless you met one yourself physically and you know you haven't, blah, 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 I don't want to say
yeah,
anything because, I mean, come on. Let's go with the reptilian theory and let's go with the shapeshifters. What if,
yeah,
like, they live or we live with Roddy Piper? Remember, you put on the glasses and you
hmm
see the. You know what? They could have been telling you the truth right there and you wouldn't even know it.
yeah. There's a great episode of Doctor Who as well, what called it's like the Slovene episode, and like it's like these aliens can wear these cloaking devices to look like humans, and then the prime minister is actually an alien in the episode. It's a great thing to watch just for entertainment purposes alone. But
Well, yeah, but understand this. You know, they've
uh,
always told us they were going to tell us what they were going to do, that they were going to do it. They even told us they were going to tell us who they was. Okay?
yeah,
Now, they
yeah,
didn't say how they were going to do it.
no,
So you think about it. They could have been doing it right through Hollywood in these movies you've watched. And I already know they put stuff in movies. Okay?
yeah,
I've
oh
caught so
certainly,
much in
yeah.
movies that they put in movies. So you
Oh,
really
same
want,
here,
yeah, so you got to
same here.
really think about it. It very well could be true. It could be just like what Ron said that I'd mentioned, which is true. What if the very top of the pyramid is an ET? What if that is who's
Yeah,
calling the shots?
but at the same time, like I don't know of any other insect or bug or animal that's a shapeshifter. I mean, the chameleon's the closest thing I can think of, but
Oh, I know.
to the trained eye, a
Well,
chameleon can be spotted. It doesn't
but
look, it
you
can't
know,
change anything.
but even David Icke and Mark Passio both have talked about this. And David Icke and Mark Passio both have suggested the very same thing. Okay? And unfortunately, you know, it's just like we got this big galaxy full of planets. Okay?
Aye, he,
Because we haven't, blah, blah, who's to say another life form hasn't figured out or be more intelligent and navigated and come from another galaxy somewhere onto this planet? You know, there's just way too much there that we cannot concretely say, oh, that's nuts. And we can't say it's true, but we can't say it ain't true. There's way too much
he,
suggesting. You got to have an open mind and you got to sit on a fence with this one and never discount it and say how nuts it is, because in the end, you could be the nut job by turning your back.
I'm open to it, but at the same time, if these aliens have the technology to travel across the galaxy, what do they need us for? They could just kill us all. What would they need us for if they
How
were
about
so much
slaves?
smarter than us?
How about slaves to do stuff that they can't actually do without physical work?
Hmm. Well, that's but like maybe they have robots. If they're so advanced, they might have developed robots already to do the physical work. Maybe
Well,
they have robots like the Terminator can do that for.
well, unfortunately, you brought up a very valid thing there. When you talk the Terminator, right?
Oh
Who
yeah, that
who says that we're not moving that direction already?
I think we are, but I mean, if we are, we definitely are. But I think if we are, I mean, the aliens will have already done that. So what would they need us for? you know,
Well, as far as we know, they would have, right? What if there's other
yeah,
dimensions? Like, okay, maybe we're on a dimension, and maybe there's a parallel dimension to ours right now. Okay, and maybe there's a parallel dimension to that dimension. Can we concretely say
no,
there is or ain't? No, we can't.
no, no. A lot of these awake guys, they talk about energy, right? I mean, I'm not. I'm still on the fence with that, but the whole idea about everything just being energy and dimensions could be true. I don't like to think about that. It's too confusing. But I'm maybe too stupid to fucking believe, see that. But I'm not going to say it doesn't exist.
Well, no, I mean, I got a lot of years of research behind me, and at one
Oh
time
yeah.
in my life, I would have said, no, alien, you're completely nuts, but oh, no, 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 no. On my
No, I mean,
research, with my research and stuff that I've seen and done in my life, I have to say, I'm sorry. I live on a planet filled full of life forms all around me. So I'm not going to just put this on a burner. I'm going
no.
to sit on a fence and tell you there's a very, very, very good chance that this is true. Okay. Now, as
Yeah.
far as Mark Passio, okay, I
Yeah.
don't know. Because I look at it this way: Mark
Yeah.
Passio, David Icke, I think are
Yeah.
both, now, this is just my opinion. Okay. My opinion
Yeah.
is, as much as I like Mark Passio, and I think I remind me of Mark Passio because I think Mark Passio and has a lot of characteristics I have. His
So he
anger,
appears
the
to.
way he feels, certain things about Mark Passio is definitely me, right? But I'm not Mark
Yeah.
Passio, right? But
Yeah.
I will say this. I feel that Mark Passio and David Icke are both working for the powers to be, and they're
Yes.
being given the information that they're giving us.
That's, yeah, 100%, man. I mean, Mark Passio was trying to say that the alternative media was the truther movement, like shows like fucking Joe Rogan.
I know, I know,
Joe
I know,
fucking bloody Rogan.
I know.
You know.
I called Mark Passio out on
Yeah,
that because,
you were the one who showed me that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. He left me no choice but to call him out on it because it's just like
Yeah.
David Icke will still tell you that WikiLeaks and Julian Assange's a real thing, that this is real. Yeah, that's a real psyop. Yep, that's how real
Yeah.
it
I mean,
is. It's a psyop. It's bullshit. Okay, but the point is I think you're looking at two agents
yeah.
that have been told to give this knowledge to us that is actually truth. Okay,
Yeah.
and you're getting a lot of truth from them, but you got to be aware of, like any really good agent, they give a lot of truth, then they give the little propaganda here and there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and so you got to sort of sit on a fence with some of it. And if you can clearly
Yeah.
see through the shit, then you definitely call out what you can see through, like with the alternative media and the
Oh,
mainstream media. I mean, anybody that ain't got freaking enough common sense to figure out that everything
I.
is controlled, everything.
Mhm.
You ain't got some alternative media that just happened to come up on the internet that was created by DARPA, that's controlled by the military industrial complex, that's
No.
controlled by the powers to be. And they're just going to
No.
let you come up here on a computer and tell the real truth. If that's the case, then you
Yeah.
might want to ask about all the censorship that's happened on YouTube.
Exactly. Why did it take down your channel but not Mark's or David's? you know.
I mean,
Very suspicious.
yeah, exactly. It's sort of like right in your face.
Hi. Right in your face.
Yeah.
But
So,
Bill, I think you're definitely a lot more intelligent than me, and you're a lot more knowledgeable than me. You and me could talk for, I'd say, 100 hours, and you could teach me stuff for 100 hours straight that I didn't fucking know before, right? I honestly think you could do that if you wanted to. But it just with the whole aliens thing, I think if they can develop spaceships, they can develop robots. That's what I think. Like, so,
I
I mean, a
wouldn't be
spaceship's more
surprised.
tougher than a
Well, you
robot.
know what? Mankind took a big leap in intelligence like 20 years ago that we know of. They've always been like 50 years ahead of what they tell the people.
Right.
And I think some of our technology came from some of these. This is just my opinion again, okay?
He,
Not saying it's true, but I think some of
he,
our technology came from another life form to begin with.
yeah, that could definitely be true because I'm the two theories I have is it's either that, or it's this whole people are just becoming stupider through all the social engineering that 1940 was the peak, and then social engineering came in, and then everyone became stupider, and nobody's ever been able to surpass the intelligence levels of 1940, and we slowly sort of regressing from that point. But it's one or the other. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you were telling me before, like the pyramids. That's like really great technology.
Yeah, and I think Ron's right here. Ron wrote the NWO agents must work. Okay, something like vaccinations. Okay,
We,
if you inject a small amounts, okay, for
yeah,
absolute truth, the body regulating system will become, okay,
I,
disposed, okay, to expel it whenever it encounters it later on. Okay, let's sort of, I think that's sort of, you know, I think it's small doses because if you notice, your really good agents tell lots of truths. But then how else do you get a following of people that are waking up by telling truth? And
mm,
to me, it's like you just got to listen closely what they're saying and don't take everything to heart. But if you know something's correct, say it. You know, and we're in the end days of NW anyhow. I'll guarantee you we're approaching the end times of
guarantee.
NWO. I'm not talking about the end times in the so-called Bible or Quran. No.
I hope it is, so I can go to heaven. Like, it's a nice thought. That's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm betting on. But probably not. Well, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to blaspheme our stream, right?
I don't,
I mean,
hey, I give you, everybody's got their own right to their own belief, you know.
yeah,
And of course, my belief and Warren's belief would be in line with the Bible's written script by the powers to be, because you can't be in a
yeah,
war of evil versus good with evil winning, which we are, and evil's going to allow a good book to be all over the place because evil can't touch that book. Oh yeah, that book just mysteriously appeared there, right? I'm sorry,
yeah.
I don't buy that.
But then, how about all of the elites that like worship the devil? You can't have one without the other. Why did all
Well,
these
what if the
people?
devil don't exist? What if that's fear porn to control you?
It could be, mate, but I like to think. I like to think the more positive. you know,
I'm
that's
just,
just all I can
I'm
say.
not
I have
telling you
no
what to
arguments.
believe. I'm only telling you, what if that's all a lie? What
I
if
have no
there is no,
arguments. I have no logics. You could destroy me on a debate on this. You could pwn me. So let's not go there. But all I'm saying is, I want to believe, so I will believe. Okay, you know, that's all I'm gonna say on it.
You believe what you want to believe in your own faith, in your own way. Because I
But
know that there's life after death from my own life
yeah,
experiences, okay?
yeah,
I
I
just
think so.
don't I just don't want to say how, what, why, when, or where. Because I have no idea. But I know that there is life after death. Okay. I know this for fact because of my own life experiences. But I don't want to be the one to say, well, this is what's going to happen because I don't know what's going to happen to me when I die. Okay. Honestly, I don't. I know
Yeah,
that my deceased brother was in my house in Nebraska. How he got in my house in Nebraska was beyond me, but I know it was him. And he even
yeah.
told me it was him before he left, believe it or not. And not in a
Oh,
way that you would think, but he did. And
uh,
right after I knew it was him, suddenly
yeah.
everything stopped.
How,
Everything
how
that was
how
going on stopped.
how did he tell you it was him?
I
I
laid down to
mean,
go to sleep at night, closed
Yeah.
my eyes like we all do, and I was watching a television set that clear. That
Yes.
clear is looking at your TV. And in that television set was my ex-wife and me getting up to go to work, and my deceased brother was with us, going out the door and climbing in the vehicle to go to work with us. And I sat straight up because I wasn't even asleep. I just closed my eyes. That happened. And my gut went off and said, the shit in the house has been my brother. It was my brother, right? And after that happened, nothing ever happened in the house again.
Mhm.
That was his way of letting me know it was him.
Yeah. I mean, I
You
believe
know,
you on
and
that. I think it's
it's
correct.
just unfortunately because I know there's life after death, and I've experienced stuff throughout my life that
Yeah.
guaranteedly confirmed it to me. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
tell anybody else what they experienced or not, but I say, don't disclude anything. Now, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, is there another dimension or is there reincarnation? I've seen enough on that to suggest that maybe that's true. Maybe we do reincarnate and come back. I don't want to think that way because I sure don't want to come back to this. I'll tell you right now, I do. I know I'm on my last days, but I do not want to be reborn back into this shit.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Okay, so
That's what it's come to,
I
guys. That's what it's come to.
mean, they're gonna say there's a hell. Did you ever stop to think about maybe that's hell?
Maybe this is hell, yeah.
Maybe you're living in hell right now and don't even know you are. Okay.
I feel like that myself sometimes.
Because in
Fucking
reality,
hell,
let's
bro.
look how we treat each other. Let's look how bad we are. Okay? Then you think
Yeah,
about you don't want to be here again. It's like Warren says, man, and he hopes he can
yeah.
explore the galaxy and find another life form where things are peaceful and blah blah blah. And everybody treats everybody the way they're supposed to be treated, regardless of what form it is. That's what he wants to be. I could agree with him. I could say, yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds like a good idea.
yeah, but at the same time, like the Bible would tell you that like the devil rules the earth at the moment, and that if you wait for the Christ to come, it will all be better. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of what you said agrees with what the Bible says in that sense. That the devil rules the world at the moment, but I mean, the way the world is hell. But I mean,
I got my loopholes and I have my own thing when it comes to that. So my belief is
yeah,
that, and I'm not saying there was a real Bible or a real book of our
mhm,
Creator's words, right?
right.
But I'm going to say if there is, it's locked up in the elite's vault somewhere underground, and you're not allowed to have it.
hmm It's just like the feminists. Like if you look at the feminist symbol, it's like the Christian cross turned upside down with a fist in the middle of it. If you've seen this symbol, I'm sure you have.
Yes.
I mean, that's like the Christian cross upside down is a Satanism symbol. It's like doing the opposite of the what the church would do. So it's inverting the cross upside down.
Well, isn't
And
that what's, I mean, really, in reality, that's what's going on in our world right now, anyhow. That's why I keep putting that quote right in everybody's face that everything's backwards, everything's inside out, upside down,
it's just whenever
because it
people
is
like
true.
whenever like David Icke tells me, that Christianity is a false religion created by the elite, it makes me think, is this a lie? But David Icke's this could be one of the lies he's telling. This might not be part of the truth.
Well, yeah, I
Because I mean,
understand what you're saying, but,
yeah, the
but
feminists
it's,
they like
but
have devil horns in the
I
hats.
understand that, but I also understand that fear has been used for hundreds and hundreds of years to control people.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. And now I would have to go back and say George Carlin was a comedian, but
He.
George Carlin said some really good stuff that I agree with totally, 100% across the board, and everybody
But
and everybody laughed at it. And I
what was it?
don't think it
You
was
said.
something to be laughed at, okay? Because the reality is as simple as what he said it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact is you believe in a magic man in the sky is going to come out of nowhere and save your ass. Okay?
Yeah.
And there's no magic man going to come out and save your ass. Okay? You know, and
Mm,
unfortunately, I do believe that's probably true. Very true. It's like these people that sat
mm,
back and said, well, I ain't got to worry about it because I'll tell you some really good stuff. I had a Christian person who told me they were forgiven and they didn't have to worry about it because they've been forgiven, right? And the
right. Man.
Lord's in their life, right? So if they set the planet on fire, not one hair on his body will be burned, right? Then I
Okay.
says to him, so okay. So I says, what about a brand new infant baby that was just born today? And then he says, well, it hasn't been forgiven yet. I says, but it was just born today. He says, but it was born in sin, he says. I says, so if on the day the baby is born, the world ends, he says, well, then the baby goes to hell and burns eternally.
Don't agree with that. Like,
Now, this is what he told me, right? And I says, okay. And I says, but you won't, right? And he says, no. And then I says to him, so, man, if we could go camping together and I could build a nice big bonfire, maybe I could stand you in the middle of it? Because after all, you won't have to worry about being burned, right? Oh, he got pissed off at me and hung up.
yeah.
But
Uh,
my
I
point
know.
was, is the fact is, he was willing to take a brand new born baby and say that it will burn in hell for eternally.
It's evil. Like,
Okay, that's evil within itself.
fucking is. Damn right.
Okay, but he was using the Christian religion to do that with,
I mean, the Bible has a
because
story
you
like,
haven't been forgiven. You have to be forgiven.
you know, there's a story though, like about the guy on a desert island, and then he dies, he starves, and he asks God why he didn't save him, and then he says, well, I sent you a boat or whatever, but you never went on it. Or something to that effect. I can't remember the thing like
There was too
entirely.
many loopholes in the story for me. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
cutting anybody down. It's just the fact is, when I was a little kid, our family made us go to church every Sunday, and I had to attend Sunday school as a kid. And I never forgot what I was taught in there. And as I got older, it just kept running through my head. That's not possible. That's not possible. Okay? And when you
Yeah.
really think about it, I can throw loopholes at you that you won't be able to explain your way out of. And I've
No.
questioned pastors of churches about these very same things, and they could never, ever, ever, ever give me an answer. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when I see red flags flying like that, I have a tendency of saying, yep, I smell something fishy or some bullshit going on here. I smell a little snake oil going on here. Okay? So I have to tell you, have your own belief, your own faith, but I'm not going to run
Yeah.
with any kind of religion, because I would agree with religion has been used for division, okay? To
Hmm.
divide, okay? And for control, to control the masses for hundreds of years, because if we was to use religion, you got the 10 commandments. And the 10 commandments says we shall not kill. And so
Yeah.
all of us God-fearing, loving people shall not kill. We went ahead and killed our own creator's child and crucified him on a cross to do so, because we shall not kill. Then we went to war and we killed millions of people in the name of we shall not kill. So when does
Hmm.
the crockery end? When does the crock of shit go away? Because that's what you got. I
Yeah.
have
I mean,
trouble believing that we would kill our very own creator's child. So if you want to say God, and you want to say Christian community, and we want to say we had God and we had Jesus, God's son, well, we killed Jesus, our God, our creator's son. Okay? So if we would kill our very own creator's son, why wouldn't we change our creator's words? So I'm sorry, I just don't live in
yeah.
hypocrisy. I understand that if we're that sick and evil to do something like that, then we would definitely change his words. So,
Yeah.
I have trouble with that. So I just
I
tell
mean,
people I know there's life after death. I believe we have a creator, but I don't know for sure who our creator is.
But I mean, like, they killed Bill Cooper, right? But Bill Cooper's book still exists, you know?
Well, that's because Bill Cooper was their mistake.
But I mean, it's easier to kill a man and get rid of his book.
Well, you know, we've had great book burnings. But William Cooper had already made his fame before he got killed. And when he got killed, it caused a gigantic awakening.
Yeah, but Jesus also had fame before he was killed, I think.
Yes, yes, that's true.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
It's a
you know,
hard one, isn't it? That's why I say you got to believe what you want to
yeah,
believe, you know, and you need to believe what you want to believe, what you're comfortable with. And I'm fine with that. I'm just telling you my belief system and why it's based the way it is.
yeah, I don't know.
You know,
Uh,
it's not easy. But I'll tell you this: we'll get off that topic just so you can feel better, and you believe what you want to believe, and we'll jump
yeah,
right back on over here into the dating scene topics because,
we can get more agreements in that, I
well,
suppose.
yeah, you know.
Yeah,
But I will go back and say, believe me, if I die, I don't want to be reincarnated back here in the middle of
yeah, yeah.
this.
I mean, on a more sad note, I feel I should say this in the live stream. A guy I knew was 24. He used to work in the same job as me. He killed himself last week.
Yeah,
I
and
think
he
he
killed
was.
himself last week, and was it over the fact he couldn't get a female or over a female?
I think that was one of the factors. There were many factors, but he'd never really had a girlfriend, so I think that was one of the factors. He was a bit short, and he was always I asked him, like, have you got a girlfriend before? And he asked me, so I asked him. And, he said no. He was a mess. He was telling me his life's a mess. He hadn't got any of the things he was supposed to get as a man. Like a woman and a family. And he was very quiet. He was a quiet man, so he didn't really talk much. But he, one of the times he did talk to me, a few times, he expressed lament and sadness over that. And he was only 24. Fucking terrible. Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I don't know.
Unfortunately, our world is to the point where if people don't pull their heads out of there, you know what? I'm not
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
feel sorry for people when shit goes down because there's going to be blood on the streets. And there's going to be lots and lots and lots of people dying. And there is absolutely no excuse to have hundreds of millions of men across the world that can't get
yeah.
nobody in their life.
Yeah, I tried to explain to him, right? I tried to tell him, it's not your fault. It's been socially engineered. But then he thought I was a fucking nutcase, and he just he didn't believe any of this shit. And then, and I don't know why I laughed there because it's fucking sad, right? But this guy was sound asleep. That's what I'm saying.
Unfortunately, we have lots and lots that way.
He
And
hated himself.
yeah, that's right. He blamed himself.
He hated himself, like, for what happened. He
And
blamed
isn't that
himself.
what Monday promotes? Is for you to hate yourself and blame yourself?
I was about to say that, yeah. I mean, Monday's philosophy is leading young men to suicide. It is. You know, if you listen to Monday, you're going to end up hating yourself and thinking that it was all your fault
Yeah.
and you're a loser.
You'll
The
wind
work,
up blaming yourself and calling yourself a loser for something you had nothing to do with.
because I mean, Bill, I tell you, listening to your videos, it gave me some confidence and self-worth and self-love. Like it gave me a lot of strength, man. And in a world where I hated myself and was downright suicidal, listening to your words helped me to wake up and understand that it wasn't my fault. I
Well,
wasn't in the wrong.
I'm glad that it did because the truth is it is not. It is not
Yeah,
men's fault.
I
You
mean,
know,
Bill, you are saving men's lives. That's what you're doing, man. You're saving men's lives with your work.
and I
Thank you,
wish,
Bill.
yeah,
Thank you.
well, I appreciate that, Jay, but
Such a good man.
my whole intentions was always to help other people because I've been that way my whole life. I actually
You've helped me, man.
care, and I want what's right upon everybody. And
You've
what's
helped me
going
so
on
much.
is evil as fuck. And I don't know any other way to say it other than it's evil as all fuck. Okay? And nobody deserves this. I mean, it's just right out wrong. Okay? It's evil, it's wrong, and these son of a bitches know it's wrong and don't care because to them, I'm above you. I'm better than you. No, you're
I'm
not.
richer than you.
You're a piece of fucking shit, excuse my language. You're not better than nobody.
No. I mean, thank you for that. Like, thanks for what you're doing and your message. I
You
always
know,
knew it was
I
easier for
just,
women,
you
but
know, Steve Hooker used to always tell me he loved it because some of the stuff I said in my earlier videos that I know I couldn't get by with saying no more. Okay? I was
yeah,
angrier then, and I'm trying to help people, and I was angry myself. And I said some very foul stuff to people, okay? And I meant it when I said it, okay? You know, and even today in society, some of the stuff I see going on, I'm like saying that same shit in the back of my mind, you know. And one of them that made Steve laugh was when I used to tell him, "You're a turd that fell out my you know what, and I need to put you back in the toilet and flush you. How the hell did you escape?" Okay, I got many sayings I could say, very foul, nasty stuff towards people that are doing this stuff to us.
yeah,
But the reality is, it's not men's thought, and
no,
we are in a world. This is why I praised Steve when Steve said, "Women hate men hate men," because it's fact.
exactly. And the fact that women hold so much political power over men, I use the example no fault divorce was legalized in the 1980s by Ronald Reagan. The pickup artist industry came out in the 1990s. This was something you taught me as well. It's not a coincidence that the pickup artist industry came out 10 years after no fault divorce, because that gave women considerable political power over men, which
Yeah,
has been used to destroy men. The power's corrupted them.
it's just,
You're right.
it's so sad, because I want to so bad help people. And
Yeah.
even not that all that long ago, when it came to Rhonda and Jerry, you got the white knights for women, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I was
Oh,
called a white knight for men by both Rhonda and Jerry because I stood by men.
sick.
Because I
Yeah.
stood up for men, I was a white knight for men, and somehow I was wrong and sick and evil for being a white knight for men. And I'm like, well, let's see, the real truth is nobody's standing up for men.
Yeah, that's the thing, and then the women have more power than the man to begin with, so the man needs more help.
You know? And so where is anybody that's standing up for men? You
Nobody.
know,
Yeah, I've
and you're
seen
gonna
that.
mock me because I'm standing up for men? And as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned, that makes you scum. That makes
that's right.
you the parasite. Okay?
Yeah,
That's how I feel about that. You know?
because your
And that is
philosophy.
one of the things that fired me up with Jerry and Rhonda both. And I
Yeah.
say the name openly now. I don't cover up Rhonda no more. I
No.
don't tell anybody where she lives or what her full name is and what she does for a living because I'm not that evil. But I'm not going to hide your name and call you Matilda. I'm not going to call you
No.
Hannah. I'm going to call you your real name. And if you don't like
Yes,
it,
you
tough
deserve
shit.
it.
You're the one that attacked me. I never attacked you. It's like Jerry. He
Because
attacked me behind the scenes. I never attacked him. He attacked me because I
no.
dared to talk about the dating arena. I dared to do a TFL video. I dared to stand up for men.
Yeah, and and thank God you did, because as I was saying, the war, and on the left, on the right, in the truther community, everywhere you go, there is nobody who will stand up for men. All these men are called losers. They're all gynocentric and they're all man hating. There are very few people like yourself who will fucking stand up for men. Only a handful,
Yeah,
like less than five. And yeah, I mean, whenever you're lost and you're trying to find out the truth, and then whenever you start out and you're a little bit awake, you're mostly asleep, you listen to people, like the Truther movement, like the left and the right, like Rhonda and Jerry, and they're basically blaming the men. So you think that's the truth. You think that men are at fault here. Everywhere you go, it's the same fucking thing. And then you believe it's the truth because there's talking so much other things which are truth that you begin to believe, it's your fault and you're a loser and you hate yourself and it drives you to suicide.
And it does. It drives young men. So many young. I've seen over the years. I've watched men kill themselves, and even before
Yeah.
I was speaking up, I've seen this stuff happen, and it burdens me and bothers me that somebody's going to go out and kill themselves. But I understand it because I've been there myself, where I come close to killing myself a couple of times. Okay, so
Yeah.
I know where this comes from, and I know how people feel, and I'm not going to ridicule them for feeling that way because how could you not? When people say, "Well, I'm a woman hater," no, I'm as far away from a woman hater as you can get. I've never
Yeah.
hated women. I hate corruption. And when I look and I see what's really going on, I realize that men are the ones that's being victimized. Men are the one that's being demonized in society. Okay?
Yeah.
And the reality is we're all at fault for it, all of us, because men are turning their back and allowing their opposite gender to get by with murder. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're turning their back and allowing Hollywood and all these criminals to get by with murder on the man's name. Okay? Anymore, it's gotten so bad that I'm like, I don't know why when a baby boy is born, you don't just kill it. And I'm dead serious. Why'd you killing every baby boy as they're born around the world? Don't tell me you love them. Okay, you love them while they're a child, and as soon as they get old enough, you're going to throw them under the train, throw them in front of a bus, because they have a penis between their legs. And then you're going to say, no, I won't. We love men. Oh, yeah, you love men at your selfish expense of yourselves.
Yeah, you love a man as a utility, somebody you can use, and if he doesn't provide you with any money or he doesn't provide you with something, he's worthless and he's a loser. And he better get his ass, he better start making himself useful, or else he's a fucking worthless piece of trash. And you have no care for that, right?
Exactly. So I'm going to bring somebody in with us.
Oh, is it Joe?
Yes, he's here. He's an hour late, but he's here.
Yeah, man,
maybe an
that's
hour and a
good.
half late. I don't know. But according to it, he's here. I just now saw the thingy at the bottom. Hopefully, he's by his computer. I just invited him in. So
nice.
we'll wait and see if he answers. There he is. There he is. Okay. Now let's see if we got him.
Yes.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you got here anyhow.
Sorry. I came late.
You're late again, but you're here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got up late. I had a few things I had to do today, so the usual routine on Sunday. But I came late. I'm here now. So what have I missed? What have I missed with this
conversation? You missed a lot. I was having my rant. You came in right as I was having a rant about men and how the fact that where's men standing up for men in this world. And that's really what I was ranting about. Because the fact is that there's nobody standing up for men. Mm-hmm. And when somebody does stand up for men, you want to villainize them for, and that's one of the rants I was at this point of the show. We talked about a little bit of everything, but it was the fact that when you speak up for men, you get demonized for standing up for men.
I know. I've tried it. The Sims Mengidas, they will support the female who's attacking me, who's speaking out on what is right, on her bad behavior, how she's treating the guy, and they'll demonize me, and the guy will support her. And I'm trying to help you guys out by bringing you out of your suppression, and you don't want to take my side, because if you take my side, then she'll turn on him and the other guys. And they don't want that, so they cater to the bitch. Yeah. Sorry, but
yeah.
Exactly. You know, but
It's
hey,
just
This,
I'm
scary.
glad. I'm
this
glad
is
that
this
you
is the
found.
world we live in. This is
Yeah,
the world we live in.
I'm glad that you found your way into the show.
Yeah,
The
I'm
Zoom,
glad to.
You
the
know,
I think
Zoom, the
the
Zoom
last,
wouldn't
yeah,
go on.
I was just going to say the last live stream you and Bill did was, fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, well, I just said I just well I just said whatever I said came out of my mouth. I just whatever I felt I said it.
Yeah,
well, I
There are a
appreciate.
it's
lot
great.
more things I haven't said because it's personal, and I can't go. I can go into details, but it takes some time to warm up to people that I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're all
Okay.
the same. That though.
That's understandable. Did you get a chance to watch Monday Forever Alone Monday? What I said about him today and what he said.
What's that?
Oh, that's epic. That is absolutely epic. He
I
done
heard
it.
the
He
I
done
watched the witch. I watched the witch video you did. That was a great one.
the incel one with Monday Forever Alone Monday.
Okay. Now the new one. I haven't seen that one.
Oh
I
my
haven't seen
God. Well, that was epic because his statement. I had to back it up and hear it again because I couldn't believe what I'd heard him just say. I was like, "You didn't just say that." I backed it up and I was, "Oh my God, he did just say that." Okay. So what he said was, okay, parents who could never have a child. So if you're from a parent that could never have a child, then you will most likely be incel. Okay, so then my question was, okay, if you're from a parents that could never have a child, then you wouldn't be here because they wasn't able to have a child, so you don't exist. Okay, so obviously he must be talking about what, parents who adopted somebody. Then if he's talking about somebody who adopted somebody, then what he's going to say is if you're an adopted child, you will never have your significant other in your life, that you're going to be alone forever and ever and ever. And meanwhile, he's reading this snake oil salesman article, NWO all the way, and the only good thing out of that whole video is he listed all the countries that are facing this epidemic. But the picture is of that of an infant baby that was premature.
Mm.
So this baby was born premature, and if a baby's born premature, it's doomed to it'll never have nobody in their life. That was Monday Forever Alone Monday for you, because he's helping men, right? What, commit suicide?
Mm.
Helping them blame themselves.
Yeah, helping them blame
Really?
themselves. So
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, I want you to do me a favor. Carry on the show for a couple minutes,
Okay.
All right.
okay? And then I'll be right back with you, okay?
All right.
All right. Yeah.
So where do I take this conversation? I mean, how old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
I'm about 21, approaching 22. How old are you?
I'm 32. And
32.
yeah. You're a young guy. You don't. I mean, I don't know how far. When did you start waking up when you realized things weren't right with the dating scene? Because I saw earlier on when I was 19, probably when I was a teenager, that things
Yeah.
went wrong.
Yeah, I think I didn't even realize the dating scene until later on, but I did realize about, I realized about NWO and stuff at about 18 and 17, around that age.
Okay.
Just after I turned 18.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
because I mean, I really started to wake up when I was 27, 26. I started to ask questions then because I realized I was holding on and hoping I was going to meet somebody. Well, hoping you're going to meet someone in your 20s, and that didn't happen. And I think, okay, I waited long enough for somebody. What's going on? And I started to ask questions with friends at work that I was working at the time, and we started discussing about this sort of information, topics about this sort of taboo subjects. And it is true. I hate to say it to you, but the young girls today, what they were back in the old days were different. And you're not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
you're not going to get a good woman today that's gonna go for a good bloke. She's gonna blow you off, give you bullshit reasons why she can't get involved with you. She's gonna go for the guy that she claimed she doesn't want, but she does want him, right?
Yes. Right.
And keep you in the rat race in the game, like a little puppy, chasing the tail or chasing your own tail, right? Hoping that one day she'll give you the opportunity. That day will never come. And then if that day does come, she'll be used up, worn out, her best years are over. She'll have bad boy kids by her side, and she's going to want you to pick up the pieces and take care of her. And don't be that guy, because if you do that, she won't respect you, because she does not respect good blokes. She respects good guys who mistreat her. If you're a good bloke, she'll shit on you. And for a long when I was back 10 years ago, when I was 21, back in 08, 08.
Right.
I remember well. You were only like what, 10 or 11? You were a kid. You were a young guy. I saw it at that age. I got 21. I should be getting girls with no problem. I'm going to the bars and clubs. I was in Las Vegas at the time, and went to a few hotel clubs, and mate, I just got the complete I was a plant. I was invisible. I wasn't even recognized. In my prime years is where I should be getting no problem. Now I'm fucking 31, 32, and I hate to say it to you, but it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
And I go, fucking hell. But I also see young guys like yourself, also in my generation, they're also on their own, blown to the side, but they want to keep playing in the game and trying to simp out with some girl and do all of these things for her and take care of her and be her little slave, hoping that he'll get some kind of access to a relationship, but she'll just blow him off. She has so many guys to choose from. Unless you're a rock star and you're a pop star, you're a sports star, or you're a celebrity, then you'll get the opportunity. But if you're not that guy, you're going to be led on, told false hope. Oh, just do this and just do that. And just go and get this high-paid job, and you just pick up this instrument and buy a nice car and show you've got money, and she'll just no. Excuses. And she'll just go for the guy who's unemployed, immoral, in and out of jail, mistreats her, treats her like dog, and she'll spread her legs to a guy like him, but the good guy who's got his shit together. No, she won't go to him until she's used up and her best years are over and his kids are all grown up. I go, no, just a complete fucked up backwards mentality. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Okay, I get angry. I get angry when I see it, because I go, fucking damn it, slap out of it. Or when I smack her out of it. But if you do that, then the police come and arrest your ass. You're going to put your hand behind your back and do nothing about it. And just watch what's happening in front of you. And knowing that the anger and the frustration inside you wants to go out and just do some things that want to snap her out of it. But it's not just that. It also goes to in general. Our guys shit on other guys at work, at school, to show off some girl that he's better than the guy that he's shitting on. I see it all the time. I get to as well. So I left school. I've got my own job. I've got my own side gig I'm doing. And working for yourself is the best thing, honestly. You avoid the normies like the plague.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna run into them every now and again when you're out and about buying shit, or when you're working around certain people, but you're on your own. You're working on your own terms. There's no one else pushing you or being above you. You work at your best pace, and you get results that way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite an achievement to work for yourself and get that done. Like, well done to you.
I don't see how people can't. I don't see how young guys can't do it. How young guys can't pick up a trade and just do these 4 years with some boss. Learn what you have to learn. Put your money away. When you got enough money, get your own work vehicle. Get your equipment you need. And, you got to make contacts. You got to get the word out. You got to do a good job what you do. Be reliable. It does take time. And you're gonna be fucking pulling your hair out because all this work and effort may come to may not work out in the end. You, you, you have to, if you're gonna do a trade job, you have to love doing what you do. You have to live and breathe it. You have to. It's like if you like playing football, you like playing music, you gotta love doing what you do and put your heart and soul into it. That's the only way to make something come out of it. Um, it is hard work. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just maybe you got to have tough skin. I think I've got tough skin. I'm not. I'm not. I have become less emotional as I got older. As I've gotten older, I have become less emotional, meaning I've become more blunt. I've become more just colder towards people and my own mother because we live in a nice world, and I can't show my true nature by being nice and kind. Because when you're nice and kind, people don't respect you. They'll shit on you. They'll see you weak. And I went through school, and I've gone through this shit at school. And believe me, if you're nice and kind, guys will mistaken you're a faggot, which I'm not. They'll say you're weak. They'll say you're kind and you're not a man because you're not tough and martial and dominant. And that's what you get in our world. And our world is going down a dark path because nobody cares. Like Bill said many times over, nobody cares. Our world's in a shit right now, and the normies can't wake up. They don't want to face it. And all I can say is, when this final world comes to an end, when the final bomb goes off, I don't feel sorry for humanity. I don't feel sorry for them. I can't. I'm sorry. They're a shit race. Sorry. But,
Well,
the majority of the people,
you're
the
talking.
majority of the people, the majority of people now, the majority of the people on this earth, are not nice people.
Deserve it. Yeah, it's like the Noah's Ark story.
Well, Joe was talking about loving your job, okay? And then you get this comment that are in here that says, loving your job is fucking, okay, is fucking gay. No, loving your job is what allows you to go on to your job every day and take you fruit of the loon nut jobs off our fucking mind. Okay?
Yeah, I mean,
and this is, and if you love your job and you go to your job, then you will focus on your job and you will become good at your job. And if it's a trade skill, you will move up the ladder with your talent and outdo the other people because you know what you're doing because you paid attention. But see, if you're going to call somebody gay for loving their job, well, because it's slavery, well, let's just picture a world where
nobody does any work.
Nobody does any work then. I wonder how you got here online. Who was going to build that damn computer for your dumbass? Who was going to grow that food for your dumbass that you shoved in your face? Did you ever stop to think about that kind of stuff? No, you didn't stop to think about that kind of stuff. You think, what, it's just magically going to appear, huh?
It is statistically correct, though, that 86% of people hate the job. That's a fact. I'm just putting it out there.
That's really where that comes from. I can understand what you're talking about, the wage slave. I would piss people off if I had control of the monetary system. I'd be killed because I'd make sure everybody globally made the same amount of money. Okay, but you'd be paid really, really well. So that you would have the incentive to want to go do your job. Because the reality is we wouldn't have what we have right now if somebody didn't go out there and make it.
Can we talk about money, guys? Like, the economy has been built as a pyramid scheme. So as Albert Einstein said, compound interest, those who understand it get rich, those who don't pay for it. So, I mean, that whole idea is that basically, you're getting ripped off because compound interest is like black hole sorcery, right? It's like usually.
The money was based out of debt to begin with. Okay?
Yeah.
They printed $1 million to start off in an economy when the money was first created. Okay? They charge interest on the money that was never printed. It was meant to put you in debt to them.
Yeah.
And then furthermore, these criminal bankers turned around and said, we own the money and we give you permission to work to borrow some. Well, you
Right.
borrowing it, you don't own it. It's not your money. We
Mhm.
allowed you to borrow our property in return for your labor. So therefore, okay, we'll excuse the fact you bought food and you bought drinks, right? We don't care about that. But you bought a car. Well, that
Right.
was our money. We own that car, not you.
Hmm.
Do you catch how they done it? So they get to claim everything in society is theirs because they own the money. It's criminal as criminal as criminal gets. And why did they get by with it? Because we're in a world full of cowards who wouldn't rise up and stand up to them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, I agree with that, but with the way compound interest works, the earlier you are to the economy, the better you are. So I mean, it's no secret that the people of the baby boomer generation are a lot more affluent than the people of today. So like, if you're a young man going into work today, like my grandfather was an accountant and he was making enough money to buy a house every year if he wanted to. He didn't save any money for his kids. He was very selfish. He went on like multiple holidays a year. He went out to a restaurant near enough every day. He bought 11 cars. He spent all the money on himself rather than investing it. But then my brother, who's also an accountant, is making 1/10 that money. My brother could only buy a house in 10 years from doing the same job as my grandfather, who could buy a house in 1 year.
Oh, okay, I
So
got a question now because I don't live
that's
over
the
there.
point.
You're over in the United Kingdom. Okay, and
Right.
Joe's over there, I believe, in Australia. So let me ask you guys something. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a birth certificate?
Aye.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. The number on the birth certificate is actually your number in the market, your cattle.
Yeah, I actually knew that.
Right.
Okay, your
I
cattle.
didn't know.
So I was
Your
curious.
slave number.
Now your property, you were just talking about buying a house. Do you pay
Okay.
if you bought that house straight up, lock, stock, and barrel, do you have to
Mhm.
pay taxes on it every year?
Property taxes, yes, sir.
Okay, then you don't own it.
Oh, very true. Yeah.
This is
I
what
know.
I'm getting at. See, you don't own it. See, the bankers, once again, we're going back to how they've pulled the blanket over people's faces for years. Okay? Slave labor is exactly, I understand what they're saying in the chat. And it isn't because I don't agree with them, because I know what they're saying and I know they're correct. But the reason it's that way is because we never rose up as a people and stopped them. They get their power from us, the people. They get their military from us, the people. And only us, the people, standing together and rising up, can take that power away from these people. Okay? And this is why I fought so hard against division for so long. Because the biggest thing that scares the people at the top the most is the fear of people rising up.
That's not going to happen.
Yep, that's correct. So they have created.
Look around you. It's more divided.
Oh, yes. They have created every kind of division you can name of anywhere. You
What it
get
was
people
more than what
saying,
it was 20 years ago.
"Oh, hell yeah!" They want
I
us
was a kid during the 90s and I saw it. And during 94, 93, up to the late 90s, people were actually communicating, in parks, there was talk, people went stuck up. Nowadays, it's a complete cold, dark world. It's going to get worse.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better.
I can't believe it.
You can't even get the people in the manosphere. You're talking about men who all having a mutual same problem with different names for it, and they can't even stand together. They would rather fight each other. Okay, so you know who won? The people who done this to you. They got you all bent over with the lube out laughing at your dumb ass.
Well, not me. They are. The
Well, no,
normies.
not you. Okay, not myself. And Jay being 21 and being as where
Oh,
is he at his age?
the price you pay.
I'm like, yes, because they ain't got him bent over.
But the price you pay is isolation, and that's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, and it can damn well kill you.
Unfortunately,
And I personally believe that in order for you to survive being isolated, you have to be wired to be alone. You have to thrive in being alone. You have to be a lone wolf. You have to be wired to be a lone wolf. You can't just be someone who's just a social butterfly but's thrown out of the group and now can somehow become someone who can survive on his own. It doesn't work that way. I believe you've been born a certain way. Your personality type, your character. To survive it and to enjoy it, you have to be wired to be that way.
I think
It's the only way.
personally what you're saying is
Because it'll
true,
damn well kill you.
and I think it's when you're talking about being wired, I think it's a lot of self-discipline that men are going to have to do on themselves to change their own perception to what you're talking about. Because if they can't do that, then I have to agree with you that they're going to end up killing themselves, or they're going to end up, or they're going to end up flipping out and maybe killing other people and themselves.
I don't know about Jay, but when I was a little baby, little kid, a little infant, you know, I was always the kid that deliberately stood out of the group and did not want to play with the others. In kindergarten, in primary school, in high school, 9 out of 10, I deliberately chose not to partake with others. I had people that I associated at school that were acquaintances, but I never really hanged out with them. I hanged out for a little bit, but I tend to walk on my own during recess and lunchtime, on my locker at the library, on my own. I actually enjoyed it, being alone than being with them. I actually felt like they drained the crap out of me being around them. And they thought I was weird because I was a loner.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm the opposite, like, you know.
I think you actually done the right thing. Okay, personally,
it's a good way to
because
be.
see what he's done for himself is because of the fact of that. And he's pushed into TFL. He's pushed into isolation.
Early on.
He's already that's right, but he's already got his coping skills in order.
Yeah, when you're young. When you're young.
Okay. You know, and now Jay says he's the opposite of that. And I know that's going to affect Jay harder, okay?
Yeah,
And then I look at Dave, who's in the chat. Dave is Steve Hoka's age, okay? Dave has been TFL his whole life, okay? Dave is like he went back to your job. And he's telling people with advice. He says, your future enough to have a job you truly enjoy. By all means, run with it and make the most of it, because that is going to be your sanity. You know, I lived on a job site, literally remodeling homes. I would be on my own all day long, and I would live on that job site. And I would live on my work. And why did you do that? Because this takes your mind off of where it would be otherwise.
Yeah, wise words, Dave and Bill. That's wise words. I fucking hated my fucking job. I think that guy I knew who killed himself hated his fucking job too. That was probably one of the prime factors why he killed himself.
Baraka McKay.
No, he's talking about just recently. A guy he knew, yes.
Just a guy I knew who worked in the same place I worked.
Within a couple weeks or so ago.
Last Sunday, I think.
Fuck. He did it. He committed suicide.
Yeah, 24 years old, man.
Shit, he's a young guy.
Yeah.
3 years older than I am. Yeah.
See, we're gonna, you know, and that's sad is we're gonna see more of this because even Steve Hoke and I talked about this. Isolation is the worst of all of this, because it is the isolation that will drive you to kill yourself. That'll drive you right over to the other side. To you can't be that social butterfly and go out there and be rejected and pushed out and rejected and pushed out without having to do damage to you. And that damage is like my first TFL videos. It eats a person from the inside out. And it's damage that don't just go away. So, if you lived 10 years or 15 years of TFL and a woman comes into your life They think, oh, you beat TFL, you're magically out of it. No, the damage
No.
is already done.
Correct.
Yes, TFL is trauma. If
Okay,
nothing
but the
else.
damage is already done.
Women don't
Now,
care about
you
this
figure
problem.
the woman come into your life. Maybe at first you felt a lot of relief, you felt happy, the companionship, but as toxic as today's world is, and the way women are treating men and men are treating women, you're
Mm,
most likely going to meet a woman who's going to use you and
exactly.
say all the words and not mean them and use you until she's through and
I
throw
know.
you and throw you away like a hamburger wrapper. And
Selfish, selfish.
yes, and I hate to say that to guys, but
It's the truth.
that is the freaking truth, whether you believe it or not. And
It's not right.
and
It's
if she
disgusting.
don't throw you away, you better get used to the fact that she's gonna want to treat you lower than a piece of dirt and make trouble out of every damn thing that she can.
Yeah. I don't know how guys live their life and have a woman, a wife who just constantly always brings the guy down. The guy goes to work, pays the bills, provides for the woman, has the children, and she always never gives him a time to be at peace and enjoy his marriage and enjoy his family and enjoy the time together. Why can't she just back off and leave the guy alone? Yeah,
They get the rocks off, and I don't know. I mean,
my
I did
mother
my
does it too as
I
well.
did my clown video the other day, you know, and you know who that was directed to after 14, 15 minutes in? Okay, to my wife's mother. Because I am the victim of being attacked all the time, all the time, all the time. And
Mm,
she's been doing this for what, 4 years now, attacking me and attacking me. And I warned her the first time before I ever made a video. She'd come up on my wall and kept attacking me, attacking me. And I finally told her, I says, look, Linda, you keep attacking me, I'm going to make a video just for you. Because the first time she ever met me, she already knew about TFL. She knew about True Force Loneliness and called me a true fucking loser. Okay? So
yeah.
she knew about that from the very beginning. Well, she's attacking me, and I told her I'd make a video just for her. And she kept attacking me and attacking me. So I made a video just for her. Okay? And I told nothing but truth because that's who I am. I'm not going to come up and lie. I tell it the way it is. Oh my God. Now she had to call the sheriff's department and turn me in for abusing her. Okay? And so the sheriff's department had to call my wife up on her phone. And she hands me the phone and they're blah, 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 blah. Okay, they're complicit with her behavior. Okay? So, I had to go my rounds with that. But did you see it stopped me from doing what I recently did? No. The first video, I put her name and her picture on it. And that's what the whole world saw on Facebook was her ugly fucking mug and her fucking name, right? But only the first name.
Right.
This picture, this time, I threw a clown picture up there. And since her aunt now has injected herself into it, I also injected her into the video. So people got to see both of them.
Too right.
Okay? Now, of course, the cousin has seen it. Heather has seen it. They both watched the video. Okay? But her mother hasn't seen it yet. And neither's the aunt. Because even though I posted it up on Facebook, I put the link, I shared it there. But see, right in their face, but see, I didn't say, this is to you, Linda. Because I didn't say it was, this is to you, Linda. She's not aware that video was. And if they started to listen to it, they'd have to go at least 14 minutes into it because I broke down society first. I talked about social engineering before I went after. So, but just the same, do I really care? Adam say, well, she's going to call the sheriff's department on you again. They're going to call the law on you again. I said, let them. I haven't broke no laws. She's the one attacking me. I'm not attacking her. I leave her alone. Because she can't see fit to leave me alone. See, and I'm not going to be told that, well, I can't stand up for myself because she's a female. Because I'm going to show you this.
Yeah. Most guys don't do that. I just can't take it. I can't take the abuse. I can't take the crap. I have to open my mouth and tell her where to fucking go. I have to. I'm sorry. Who in their right mind would take the abuse over? And there's guys out there that just do it. They're husbands and wives, just take it and take it and take it and take it.
There
Like,
is.
fucking hell, man. And the guy, like, what he'll do is he'll take the abuse and then he'll turn on his son and start to shit on his son because to take it out on him. I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen the mum or the dad will take their frustration out on their child.
Yep.
Out in public.
That's correct.
And my own father also did to me too as well when I was a kid growing up.
Yep.
And I think it's disgusting.
Well,
I saw it today on the road. I saw it today on the road. I was stationed on the road at the lines, and a single mother was walking with her little toddlers on the path, the crossing that goes over the road to the other side of the street, and she's got her little daughter in front of her, and her little boy is about, I shit you not, 5 meters behind her, and he's crying his eyes out. He's a 3-year-old little baby, and she's abusing him, going off at him. And I'm thinking, what are you doing, girl? Pick your child up. Show some love to it. It's only a baby. And imagine when a kid grows up as a little young guy, he's going to start to, I don't know whether he's going to become a simp or a mangina or start to hate women. I don't know. But it comes down to the guy, the little kid when he gets older. But I just saw it today. And also, husbands and wives, just the usual shit, the usual normal crap. I just want to get in, get out, and go. I don't want to. When I see it, I get angry inside. It's just this game of wanting up someone else is disgusting. I can't do it, man. I can't be like that.
I don't get into it. I just, that's the one thing that infuriates me is the games. And people not standing up for themselves, and everybody.
That's how you get mental illnesses.
The mentality is. But the mentality is everything's a game. Yeah. Everything's a sport, an arena, a competition.
I was talking to the girl.
Yeah.
She's with her. She may get a little bit, but not as much as the guy. Not as much as the guy.
No.
The guy more harder.
No, the women. Well, it isn't that women ain't victims of this, but they're victims on the opposite side, and they're victims on a whole lot lower level than men are.
They'll actually promote it and pull the strings of other men.
Yeah.
I've seen it in my own life. Even at high school and primary school. That she will get other men to attack me for no reason, to start me up for no reason, to get her fucking kicks out of it.
Yeah. There are women that do this in a heartbeat. Okay.
At the time, I didn't know who was pulling the strings, but looking back now, yeah, she was doing it. She had the audacity to do that. I don't know what sick mind would do that. What sick mind would do that to somebody?
They're getting their rocks off on it. It's entertainment to them. Because they could pick it. They pick it. Yes, power.
In the girl's head. In the girl's head, is she fucked too as well in her own life? Is she gone through shit in her own life, and that's why she enjoys it? Because if you're a person who's gone through shit in your life, abusement, and you probably think that it's okay to do it to somebody else, is that the mindset of the women? Because how they've raised as children, as little girls, have they been abused at a young age? And I think that, well, I'll mock someone else. I'll get someone to do it for me, to be my slave, do it for me because I'm a sick person. Is that how it works?
I think you got a combination of reasons. We got a good 20, 30 years of Hollywood, and I don't know about your meat over there. Male bashing.
It's the same thing here.
Yeah, so you figure you got 20, 30 years of nothing but male bashing. You picture now a little girl and a little boy growing up, and that little boy and little girl, the boy's getting the message how big of a villain he is. Okay? He's being told he can never put his hands on a female, and there is no reason, right? She's being told boys are monsters, they're rapists, they're villains, they're vile, they're evil, they're predators. Everything's wrong because you're a boy.
Happening.
Okay?
It's happening right now in this time frame, man.
Yes.
Then they come up and puberty sets in. Yeah.
And then once,
TV shows,
yep,
documentaries
yep,
that really hit hard.
and once puberty sets in now, they discover not only everything they've already heard, but now they discover they have all the choice.
I know.
Okay?
Yeah.
They have power.
And
They have power.
these guys are beating each other up for the
They're
privilege
desperate.
of being with her.
Because they're
Okay?
desperate.
And she has all this power she's wielding in her
And she
hand.
enjoys it.
Yes. Okay?
Mhm.
And so what does it do? It corrupts them. Okay? What does power and greed do? Absolutely corrupts the human mind. Okay? So now they become corrupt. The women that get mad at me, that hate me the most, are women who fear what I'm saying because they know it's true. They don't want you acknowledging it because they're afraid they'll lose their little power play
I
that
know.
they should have never had to begin with. No
It's
man
sick.
belongs having it over a woman, and no woman belongs having it over a man. It is right out evil and sick.
I know.
It is disgusting. You know, this is why I said to people, the one thing you've done right is you have figured out how to create your very own killer.
Totally true.
You think you can beat somebody down and keep beating them down and beating them down with no consequences. Then when the consequences happen and you lose your life, oh, poor her. She was such a good person. No, she wasn't. She was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay? And I know
That's
I'm
how it
blunt,
goes.
but that's really what it is. No, she
That's how it
wasn't. She was a fucking piece of shit, and she got what she asked for. And now I don't condone violence. I don't want to see that happen to her or that happen to him. But if you want to run with this mentality and
Mhm.
you want to continue to do unto somebody that you wouldn't want done unto yourself, then quit bitching when bad things happen because you created it yourself.
You know, when you see how girls behave in today's world, the young girls, it's very hard for a young man to go against his biological wiring to want a female. It's very hard. Because Jay's what, 21,
Yeah.
early 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was that age, man, you have no idea how much badly I wanted a girl. And even now, being at 32, you know, I have to keep reminding myself that these girls are corrupted. They'll just use you. They won't respect you. And it's a constant reminder every day to remind yourself that you may see a guy with a girl and it cuts you up. I know it does. But remember this: she's only going to use him. She's going to abuse him as a slave, like what Bill said many times over. And once she's done with the guy, a couple of months later, or a year after that, or gets knocked up by the guy, it'll end, and then she'll complain how she got hurt by the guy she was with, and then she'll go to the nice guy for support, and you'll think, well, shit, I might get lucky with a girl if I put my cards out right. But she won't. She'll lead you on, and she'll use you.
She
That's
sure
what they
will.
do.
She sure will.
Not going to find a good woman in today's world. You're not. You know, a lot of young guys are heartbroken. They don't want to hear it. They get angry and mad, and they're in their right to feel mad and angry because their youth is stolen from them. And I know how it feels. And being quiet about it is not the right answer. Speaking up and creating awareness is the way to go. But most guys that are so weak and so just not going
They're
to
so,
wake up,
you know what it is they're so afraid that
never can move forward with this shit. We always
they're
stay
they're
position.
so afraid. They're so afraid, Joe, that if they speak up, that
They'll get outcast.
they're going to be ostracized out of society, and no
Yeah.
girl will ever give them the time of day. So therefore, they zip their mouth
And take
and
it.
they keep taking it and taking it, and
That's a
thinking,
coward.
yep, and thinking one day it'll all magically go away,
No, it won't.
and it don't. It don't never go away.
It gets worse.
Because when you're tied up financially with the girl, and she finally blows you off, she can really tear your life up badly. She can tear you up. She'll fuck you over. And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
locked up in a corner. You can't get out of it.
I mean, you know, the saddest thing of all is
Mhm.
she's going to say all the right words and do all the right things, and
I don't fall for it anymore.
you might
Bill,
actually. I understand that,
I don't fall
but
for it
what I'm
anymore.
saying is this:
But a lot of young guys will
for
fall
the
for it because
young men,
they
for the
need
young
it.
men, she
Yeah,
says
the young
all
guys.
the right things. She does all the
And
right
he'll be
things.
all over
She
her.
makes him laugh. He makes her laugh, and he winds up really falling in love with her because real love
Oh,
does
yeah.
exist.
I know.
Now,
Yeah.
when she's through using him because she lied and she
Yeah.
throws him away,
Yeah.
what's going to happen is she's going to crush him. And then she's going to get an ego boost and a power trip off of how bad she hurt him. And anytime he says something, she's going to lash out to hurt him some more, and hurt him some more, and hurt him some more, because it's going to become this ego power trip.
I
And
learned this when I was 20. When I was 20, I started to realize what I'm saying right now was the truth. And I realized it don't matter what girl I get, I'm gonna have the same situation occur again and again and again. And why put my heart on the line and get hurt when I know the girls are gonna do the exact same thing, every other girl? Because they're all doing the same. Every girl is operating the same way.
that's correct. That's
You're not
correct.
going to find a good woman, a good quality girl who's got her shit together, who takes care of herself, who's well spoken, well behaved, who loves the guy she's with and will stand by him no matter what and support him. You're not going to find that girl. That girl is, man, that's an old generation that's past now. The young girls today are not wired that way. And a lot of young guys, they don't want to hear it. It's hard, man. And their fathers should sit their son down and tell them the fucking facts.
Their
Tell them
father
the truth.
won't, though.
If he loves his son, if he loves his son and wants the best for his son, for his future, he should tell him, listen, when I was young, and tell him the facts. Just
oh my
tell him
God, he's not going to though.
and to groom him and mentor him and toughen him up to get a
Okay,
whole
well,
together.
Jay's 21, and Jay's
Yeah.
told me some stories about his dad.
Yes,
The exact opposite of everything you said.
he actually encourages that to like go for a girl.
Oh no,
and fall for it.
his dad
Yeah.
told him he's a loser.
Yeah, but he does. He says TFL's for losers, and they're all fucking nutcases. And
Yeah.
you should be out there trying to get a girl, and you should be grateful if any girl gives you the time of day.
And you should be grateful if a girl gives you the time of day.
He said that.
Yes.
He
My
said
dad.
that.
Yeah, my dad said that. But
So you're not close. You're not close to your dad. You're not close. You're fighting a lot.
no, I like him. He's a good man, but.
But why would you say to his son for if you're a loser for? What would you say that for?
I think he just wanted the best for me.
His
He just
dad's
wants
from the
things
air.
that'll
His
toughen me up.
dad's. When we were talking, I discovered his dad's not far that much our age difference from me. And
Yeah.
his dad was considered a bad boy in the Chad.
Yeah, my dad was like a
So
literal
his
Chad.
dad never, ever, ever faced the problem. So his dad had women lined up for him because
They're
he
the
was
worst
a
of
bad
all.
boy in the Chad. Yeah.
My dad had this situation where they go to a bathroom at a nightclub, and whenever he come out, there'd be 6 girls queued up, lined up, willing to compete against each other to try and get him.
I've seen it.
And I think that's near fucking unheard of today.
What's that? Unheard of? What do you mean unheard of? What do you mean?
I mean, I don't see many younger chads at the nightclubs getting that same preferential treatment of 6 women queuing up whenever they go to the bathrooms. Yeah,
it is kind of happening. It is. I do see the chads getting the girls. I do see it, but it's not as what it used to be. It's slowly. I'm seeing chads out there that are on their own, walking alone, and they've got no girl by their side.
Yeah.
And they have no mates by their side. So it is slowly starting to change on them. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very slowly, but it's slowly getting worse. But I mean, the idea of like 6 girls, queuing up and competing against each other, sometimes fighting each other physically to get this dude's attention, that's fucking unheard of today. Like, but this
Unless you're a rock star.
Unless
you're a rock star, you're a sports star.
Well, and the the sad thing about that is, I understand what Jay's talking about, and that era happened, but that also is one of the reasons TFL has been around as long as it is. And it shows When you want to say women don't go by looks, you're completely out to lunch.
Yeah.
1 to 5 seconds, most women already know. And
What's that?
when they're going by looks and stats, 1 to 5 seconds. 1 to 5 seconds is all it takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then you get some idiots to come up and say, "Oh no, that's the girl you want." Is that 1 to 5 seconds rejected? You went the other way.
I've always told myself, if a girl really wants you, she'll orbit around you. She'll come to you.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
that's
Okay.
true.
I don't know about Jay. If you ever experienced that when at your age, I've only experienced it a couple of times, not often, maybe 5 times in my life. Okay.
Yeah.
The majority of the time you're going to approach them, and I've always told myself, you know what? If the girls choose the guy, then they should approach. Otherwise, you go to her and she leads you on, and then she puts you in the situation where, she says, "Oh, you're harassing me, or you're talking to me, I don't want to talk to you anymore." And, then clearly she's leading you on. But if the girl approaches you and she orbits around you, that means she wants you. Unfortunately, like I said before, I've only had it a few times in my life. Unless you know already, you know the truth. Okay. Um,
And then what, Joe? And you know what happens then, right? You find out she's just like all the rest.
what's that?
Oh
Oh, the
wow.
girl that.
Yeah. Okay, so she orbs around you.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
wants you. Now,
yeah.
if you accept that, you find
Mm,
out she's like all the rest.
yeah,
She's
she'll turn
only
on you
with you
again.
until she's through using you.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Fucking hell,
yes,
our world's fucked up.
I think they give women some credit. Like 30% of women are probably, decent. Like I think 30% maybe as high as that.
Yeah, but to find a girl with that percent.
Oh yeah, I mean they're probably going for the chads and everything.
Oh yeah. When
Yeah.
you're young, man, when you're young and you're in your primaries and your your hormones are active, and you want to find that special someone, you see the girls go with these type of guys, and these guys they don't treat them right. They disrespect them. They treat them like shit like dog, and they love that. They love that shit. And a good
Yeah.
guy who treats them right, they won't respect you. It's it's
Yes.
it's completely on its head. And when I was younger, it used to anger the fuck out of me. It used to really anger the fuck out of me. You have
Yeah.
no idea how close I was to ending my life. You have no idea how close I was. And believe me, about 10 years ago,
I've
I
been.
was close. I think I
Yeah.
told you I was on Lexapro, medication. I was a psychiatrist. I mean, I finally found myself and I realized it's not worth worrying about things like that because you can't stop what's not in your control. You really can't.
No, you
I can
can't.
go,
Yeah.
I can go in more depth, but I don't know whether people want to hear the darker, emotional side of the things that may. I mean, let's just face it. It's not a pretty world out there, and it's not a pretty thing to talk about. It's very, very taboo. You know, And I think parents really should tell their kids the facts, their son, their daughter the facts, instead of
Yeah.
lying, covering them up, wrapping around cotton wool. Because when they get older in late 20s or sorry, late teens, and you start to, because what happened when they're little kids, they wrap them around cotton wool, they spoil them rotten. They tell us a wonderful world out there, it's all good, and you believe it. And then when you hit your teenage years, your late teens, they slowly start to take the rubber off your eyes and start showing the true what it really is. And then they throw you in the deep end, expecting you somehow
Yeah.
to swim and to somehow start float in the deep water. But, with all due respect, you're not trained. You're not being taught how to survive in that water. Like a little baby, you throw into the deep end, you'll fucking drown. Send a soldier off to war without any training. He won't survive.
Well, if you took the
Suicide
baby,
mission.
if you
Suicide
took an
mission.
if you
Suicide
took an
mission.
infant baby out of the womb and threw it in the water, it wouldn't drown. But them instincts are lost shortly after the baby's born, so you'd have to literally take it out of the womb and throw
Yeah,
it in
but
the
it won't
water.
have any oxygen. It won't have any umbilical cord to keep it like living. You know.
I understand that, but the baby already knows how to actually motivate and swim.
Oh, it's a
All
kid too.
babies do. Okay, when they're first born. But it's
Because usually
lost,
water.
in a very short time. And once it's
Hmm.
lost, you have to be retrained. Okay?
Right.
And that's actually already been proven to be true.
I suppose dogs, they know how to swim naturally. Throw a
You
dog in
know,
the water without any
so
swimming experience, they can swim.
unfortunately, what he said overall is totally correct because you took the mask off, the illusion they grew up as a kid, and you threw them out in a world full of, and I would have to add one to it and say, they just didn't throw you in the deep end, even if you went and learned how to swim. They threw you in a fucking pond full of sharks.
Well, totally, man.
Okay?
Fucking totally.
That's what I would
Yeah.
put it. I would say you were thrown into a lake of sharks. Not just in the water, in the lake of sharks, because the real world, everybody's squatting on everybody.
Right.
I beg your pardon.
Well, what I'm saying, in the real world, people are shitting on everybody.
Oh shit. That's,
Yeah,
that's
squatting, shitting, whatever you want to say it. People
and
are
they take it.
dumb, yeah. So,
And
you
they
know,
take
in reality, you're thrown into a world from the time you're a kid. That's why I get fucking ballistic and tell people, because, the reality is it as it is. Women hate men hate men, thanks to social engineering. Okay, and since we all hate men so bad, that's why I sarcastically say, when a baby boy is born, why don't you just kill it?
Exactly.
Okay,
It's a
Exactly.
boy.
I mean,
No
it
good.
would be more humane to kill it, but no, we like watching people suffer. So
Yeah,
we're
Bill, man.
gonna treat it like gold while it's a little boy, unless there's a couple girls in the house. Then we're going to treat that little boy like shit and pamper the girls. And you know how many times I've seen this happen? The phone father will throw his son under the bus and pamper the girl.
You know what? You know what
Yeah.
I've seen. You know what I've seen too as well. I've seen the son. I've seen the father. Say forward that the father's got 4 kids, right? He's got, I don't know, one daughter. No, he's got 2 daughters, 2 sons, right? He will
Right.
he'll favor the son over the other son that he doesn't like, and he will shit on the other son and bring him down.
He picked his favorite.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it tends to be, from my observation, he tends to take the more dominant son as the preferred son. And the nicer one or the feminine one is looked at as weak, inferior. And so as a man, when you grow up, man, you're not being respected and shitted on, man, you're gonna go off on a killing spree, aren't you? Because you've been treated by your parents, by your mum and your dad, especially your father too as well. Your mum is gonna get there and be a mother and try to be nice to you, but your father, man, he's the one you go. He's the one that's a fucking asshole. Sorry, Bob, don't have a problem with an arrogant jerk.
You know, when I was a kid, what time my dad was around, we partied when he left. He used to always he'd call us by name from the oldest to the youngest. And he always told us, lie to me and I'm going to beat your ass. Tell me the truth and you won't get your ass beat. So when he called all the names from the oldest to the youngest, we all knew it was ass kicking time. And when you told him the truth, his favorite words was bullshit. And you told him the truth again. Bullshit. You told him the truth again. Bullshit. Now you got hot in the bathroom and he would go out to a rose bush outside and cut a switch off per kid and take you in that bathroom, drop your pants, and beat you until the switch broke. You'd come out with welts on your hands, welts on your legs, welts on your ass, all beat up. And so you learned real quick. And if you talked back to him, he used the back of his hand and bam, and picked yourself up off the floor with a bloody lip and a bloody nose. Okay, so you know not to talk back to him, right? This is how my dad treated us as kids. Then if you got in a fight with a neighborhood kid, my dad come running outside, not to break up the fight, but to referee the fight. Okay, so
Referee, what do you mean by referee? What do you mean by that?
okay, have you ever watched a wrestling match on TV? You got a referee?
Yes.
That's my dad. You got in a fight with the neighborhood kid. He come out. He didn't break it up. He refereed it.
So he'll dictate it.
He dictated the fight. Okay, and he wouldn't let no side
Was he
cheat. Okay.
was he an arrogant? Was he an arrogant man? Was he a masculine man?
Yeah, he was masculine in that way. Yeah.
I
You
I
know.
find masculine men to be the worst of all.
So he was
She
very
dominates.
much, very much that way. You know, and I always
I
remembered how my
I
dad
have
was.
no respect to this type of guys. I don't respect them. I don't respect them.
Okay, so this was my upbringing. Okay, but he was very. He said what he thought and said what he felt. Didn't hold back.
I know this type of guys. They're arrogant.
Yep. Now I'm not arrogant, but I do get the straight blunt forwardness to people, and I
Yeah,
think
from your
that
father.
comes from that.
Your
Okay.
personality, your father.
Yeah. The
Your
straightforwardness
personality.
is, yeah.
From your personality or your father.
My personality is
Your character.
I did not treat my son the way I was treated by my dad.
No, because you know right from wrong.
Yeah. But I was also firm with him without treating him that way so that he would be responsible for himself to care for himself. Because I didn't want a situation where I pass away and my son couldn't care for himself.
Yeah, I remember that. I know.
Okay, that is
Yeah,
totally how
I
I was. You know, and I've been accused for years of my son being right there when I was doing videos. You know how many times I heard that over the years, how I was committing child abuse against my son because I was making TFL videos.
No, you're a good man. You're not.
But
They're
my
just trying to show
son was not in my presence during anything I ever done online.
Hmm.
Okay, he was kept away from that stuff as a child.
But you're not abusing him by speaking out on this truth. Okay, you're not
No,
abusing him.
but people will love to use that. Okay, the worst
Yeah.
things I ever had was I had a person come up and tell me they were going to come to where I lived, beat the shit out of me and tie me up, and rape my son in front of me.
Who said that?
A person online. I'm almost sure I knew who said it, but I could never back it. Okay? I've had that kind of trolling done on me. I even had it when they thought they actually got my address, and they put this person's name and address out, doxing them, and it wasn't me.
Mm.
Okay? I even had a person go up on a criminal website thinking, I'm going to prove he has blah, blah, blah. And they ran my name and did a background check on me.
Yeah. Well,
And came back all pissed off because they couldn't find no ammunition to throw at me.
mm.
Okay, but the point is if you come up and started making videos yourself, a Joe, I already know. He's got tough.
Mhm.
I got no doubts.
What's that?
You got tough skin.
Yeah.
They're not
I'm
going
not
to.
trying to die.
They're not going to run you off. You will say your
Well,
say and not care. Okay.
Well, that Queensland guy, I think he may be a troll. There's certain things that he's being. It could be my. I just got a gut feeling he might be a troll. That Queensland guy. Because I said to him, if you want to talk to Bill, talk to Bill. Just talk to him. One-on-one. And he goes, oh, I'll go when you go online. We'll go and get Zoom. And I'll go now. You got Zoom. Okay. Well, why don't you just contact Bill and tell him you want to talk one-on-one? But he's waiting for me to make the first move, thinking, well, it's up to you, man. The ball's in your court. I got a feeling this guy could be just trying to leech on. I don't know, but I have my thoughts about him, and I'm going just to keep my eye out for him because I think he might be pulling the string on me.
Yeah.
Well,
Mr.
that's just it. Because see, you're here because you're real.
I'm not afraid.
That's right. There's so many people up here online that are fraudulent and fakes.
When I first talked to you on the comment section in the chat, I meant it. I actually wanted to do it. I actually wanted to get this shit sorted and meet you face to face and finally hear you out and Just I've got nothing to lose, man. I'm getting older. Okay, I've got nothing to lose, and I see guys out there just fucking, not know what the fuck to do. They're young in their prime years,
Well, I met
and they
Jay in a live stream like I
have to
met
be
you.
scared, huh?
I met
They
Jay
just
in
they have a right
same
to
way.
know, huh?
I met Jay in a live stream. His comments he was leaving.
Yeah,
I didn't know who he was, but I knew how right he was. I knew how correct he was, and I knew how right he was. So I gave him the information to get a hold of me, and he
yeah,
did. I was
yeah,
really impressed when I realized how young he was.
yeah. 21,
To
22.
be as aware as he is at his age,
Yeah,
he impressed the hell out of me.
and
Okay,
open Pandora,
and so
open Pandora,
and I
open
complimented him
Pandora's
for
box
that
up.
because what am I
Yeah,
gonna do? I gotta compliment him because he's earned it.
oh
Because
yeah,
out of all the people I see around his age, the majority of them are sound asleep and they're complete idiots. And here's a young man that's 21 years old that actually is using this.
in his prime. He's in his prime,
Yes.
and you can see.
And so, yeah, and
See, I at his age, I kind of already I was like him, but I wasn't willing to go that extra step. What he's doing, I was too scared. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to fit in, and to to with the normies. I wanted to believe the lie, and believe. I hold on to it longer. I'll find somebody, and I'll just get everything right. But I just knew, no, it doesn't feel right. I know there's something else more to it than what I've been told. And I
well,
had to keep digging and digging. And it took me to 27 to finally figure out what was going on. And I found out more 28, 29, 30, 31, and boom, 32, here I am.
Even if we do find someone, like,
What's
we're
that?
all fucked, guys. We're all fucked because in the future, it's
What's that? What's that?
he's breaking up a little bit, so try it again.
Even if we do find a woman, it's not going to be a fucking happy ending to the way the world's going in the future. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, simple, boring stuff. Just going to be breaking a name.
Well, it's a toxic. It's
people get sorted.
Well, it's a toxic environment out there. Even if you were to find a girl, there's so many guys out there that will see you out on the street with your girl, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying that people look at you in a condescending way to intimidate you, and there's guys out there that will try to, I don't know, make you feel uncomfortable when you're walking past your girl, and they'll try to wind you up for no reason because you've got a girl by your side, and that girl you're with, she'll, I don't know, if she's loyal to you, she may help you out and say, let's get out of here, let's go, get in the car, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Or she may start with that bad boy that she sees is ideal for her. This is the environment that it wouldn't work. It's toxic. It would not work. The environment is very harsh. It's very warlike. It's very hostile environment. There's no peace. There's no love. There's no sense of respect. So when you found a girl, it would always hit the wall. It would always wear out. Unless you live in a fucking house in your four walls and that's your life as a hermit. What sort of life is that with your girlfriend partner?
Because you're walking out into a world with no care.
There's no respect. There's no love.
That's
There's
right.
no love.
That's exactly it. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, guys. I mean, one of my best friends. I haven't talked to him in a month. Last time, we were talking, he had a girlfriend, but he was, he was cheating on her behind her back. So, he'd go out to the nightclubs and be trying to get with other girls. And he said, well, if she doesn't know, I don't give a fuck. So, I mean, it does go both ways, right? It does go both ways.
It does.
I mean, I think the females do it more because they're more power.
Get away with it. They're pampered.
Yeah, well, the only thing
I called my buddy out on it and haven't talked to him since. He got offended because I told him that was the wrong thing to do. I told him you shouldn't be cheating on your girl if she's fucking loyal to you, and he's just like, he gave me a fucking funny look, and I was like, fuck, Fucking
Well, I'd have done the same thing you did right there. You know, because it's correct. It does go both ways, and
yeah.
unfortunately, the only cure I can think of that is never going to happen is people have to, on an individual basis, start getting care back.
Yeah, this guy doesn't care. He's proud of
I
it.
understand that, and it's not going to happen. And as long as it's not going to happen, there's only one direction it can go, and that is the complete collapse of society. And it's going to be a domino effect, and it's going to go nation after nation after nation after nation, and you're going to watch the collapse of every single society that's doing this. Okay, and the powers to be, the people who engineered it, are just going to step in after everybody bloodshed's all over the streets and blah blah blah. You know, and it's the world's going to change in ways people aren't even ready for. Okay, and the only thing I can say is, unless people can reach around their backside and grab their head by the back of the hair and pull it out of their, you know what, out of their ass, and start recognizing that you better start caring about other people as much as you care about yourself, and start recognizing right from wrong, and stop these damn games. But we already know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So there is only one end, and that is the collapse of societies.
Yeah, there's so many ways they could do it. They have anthraxes, they have viruses. They could, give themselves a cure and administer it to everyone else. They could just use civil war with all the, division and the different races. They could encourage different races to kill each other, different religions to kill each other. There's so many ways for them to kill us. They could poison the food, or they could even just, short the food supply.
Well,
Short the food supply and just make everyone starve.
I have a gut suspicion it's going to happen in 2065. It's going to happen then. The nuclear bomb is going to go off, and there'll be the final killing effect.
I don't know. I don't know if they use them. I know we got them, and they could use them. And if they do, I think it'll be on a limited scale. But I'll tell you what. Okay, they've already engineered population reduction because they're getting it through TFL. They're getting it through. They're getting it through GMO foods. They're getting it through cancer. They're getting it through many ways.
I see. In my view, I see the world's overpopulated. I see there's too many people. There's just too many people in the world.
Not really. I can actually back that too.
We are killing off the fish stock in the ocean.
Not true.
We're polluting.
Okay. Not true.
The Amazon and the rainforest for the woods and materials. We're killing our Gaia, like my pastor said. We're killing our planet, our world. Well, it's not really our world.
Well, we're killing our world with the stuff that we're doing, but the reality is this: we're not overpopulated. That is a lie.
Antarctica's melting. The sea level is rising.
Nope, that's a lie.
They're seeing that from test results and the photos of the years.
That's a big lie.
It freezes up, but it doesn't freeze up the way you
but actually that's not true.
Well, okay. Well, you say that, okay.
Okay, well, I got some research that backs that. Okay? That actually backs it. That's actually not true. And I've traveled enough just within the United States to tell you this. Okay? Overpopulation, my ass. I cannot even count the amount of miles. I can't even begin to count the amount of miles we have of empty land.
Yeah. The USA has 300 million.
Forest and name it, non-stop uninhabited land.
The USA has 300 million.
The reason it seems overpopulated is because we have been farmed. You're put into big cities. You've been farmed. What they want to do away with is the rural small community towns. They want to herd everybody into the big cities.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
the reality is in the United States alone, they shut down thousands and thousands and thousands of farms. They paid farmers to not grow crops. The farmers that they left in circulation frequent all the mainstream interstates and highways so people don't notice it. Then they control what the farmers are allowed to grow. And if they grow anything outside that, then they're not allowed to sell it on market. And if you get a farmer who grows outside that and sells it to his local town, then the feds come in and raid them and take them out of business.
Well,
It's called creating the food shortage, creating the shortages that you're seeing, okay? Then leading you to believe that we got this stuff going on that's actually not going on, okay? Now, the pollutants and things you talked about, you're concretely right about. But see, if mankind would stand up and stop these fucks, which they're not going to, we could stop that. But we're not going to because you'd rather bitch at me for smoking a cigarette while you breathe aluminum into your lungs.
here,
That's a lot more toxic than this fucking cigarette will ever be. You're going to say that, well, we got cancer, blah, blah, but they've had the cure for cancer for decades and decades and decades. They know exactly what causes cancer. They know exactly how to cure cancer. They've known it forever and ever and ever. The real name of cancer is scurvy. But most people don't even know what scurvy is, even though scurvy is cancer. And when you got 3 doctors that came from overseas into this country in the last 30 years who was curing every single form of cancer we had, Fraud and Death Administration, which is the Food and Drug Administration, attacked them, doctors, and took them to court over and over until they took their license from them. Because cancer is population reduction and a multi-billion-dollar industry for big pharma and the medical industry. You're going to a doctor thinking you're going there to get taken care of. You're going there and getting drugs that suppress the symptoms down but does not cure the problem. Cancer is caused from a weak immune system because your immune system is weak because you're not getting the proper vitamins and minerals out of your foods anymore because it's all been removed from your foods, and some of it because of the chemtrails that's raining down on your head is polluting your soils, and Monsanto spraying fertilizer on your crops. And between the chemtrails and the fertilizer, we've removed the fucking minerals and vitamins from your food that you need that you're putting in your body. Now, all that's factual stuff. And anybody that don't believe that has some homework to do because that is absolutely true.
that's all true, man. But let me say something about the overpopulation just, and then I'll let you guys get back at it. But I think Europe has like 1 billion people living in it, and in North America, it's a lot larger than Europe, and they only have like 330 million people living in it, right?
Yeah.
Europe has like point something billion. So,
And well, then look at
um,
cancer
yeah.
for one, okay? When's the last time you've seen any of the top freaking elite people die from cancer? Come on, when's the last time you saw that? You haven't, and you never will. Magic Johnson's the only star I know of that actually got cured of AIDS. He had full blown AIDS, and he magically beat it. He didn't beat
Pretty
it.
good.
AIDS was created in a military laboratory.
AIDS.
Yes, AIDS was created in a military laboratory and put
Yeah, I
onto
could believe that.
society.
I mean, the disease only really came out in the last 60 fucking
Then they
years.
fucking turned and blamed it on the gay people
Well, yeah.
after they
that's what-
first released it, but it was never the gay people. It was
Well,
created in a
happens
fucking
next week.
military laboratory. And the only
People had
reason
6 monkeys.
Magic Johnson, I fucking laughed at that one. Because this motherfucker really got full blown AIDS and was cured. And then they said it's because he was Magic Johnson. And it was like, bullshit. When they created the motherfucker in the military lab, they also created the cure that you're not allowed to have.
Yeah.
It's because of the position he was in.
That's a very, that's what's that sound called? Freddie Mercury. Did he get AIDS? Did he die of AIDS?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, lots.
Because he was gay, right? Because he was gay, right? That's what happened.
Yeah.
He
It's
was
not.
gay.
No, it's not because he was gay though.
I'm a big Queen fan myself.
But
You
I
know where?
thought,
You know where?
he died
Ace,
because he was gay.
no, that was the lie.
He was gay.
That was the
Right?
lie. You know where? You know where? You know where they put the AIDS at first?
Yeah.
It was put in the vaccination shots, and it was piped over to Africa by Bill Gates.
Yeah, that's
Then it
true.
was
But
put in vaccination shots and distributed little by little in different communities to give AIDS. That's why you had that famous little child who had AIDS from a blood transfusion. And it
oh yeah,
wasn't because it was gay. Had nothing to do with gay.
no, it was,
So Freddie Mercury, he didn't die. He said, how did he die then? If
well,
he
he
got-
got AIDS from the gay community, but I think
sex.
maybe Bill's saying that the people in the gay community,
The
were
gay
given AIDS
community was set.
purposely
Okay,
sex.
they were set up.
for drugs.
Okay, they were set up.
You know,
Okay,
and the drugs
Who
they
was
were
set-
taking.
to
who
take
was set
the
up?
fall for it.
Was Freddie Mercury set up, or was it just because he was having some fun and
I mean,
he just
he
so
had
that was
sex
somebody
with
who
gay
got
guy.
AIDS?
He probably got AIDS through a drug.
Well,
you know, like heroin or
unfortunately,
something.
you know, the bad thing about AIDS is this. Somebody could get AIDS, not know they have it at first, and have intercourse. So you could have intercourse with them and get it. Okay? Or you can get a blood transfusion from bad blood. Somebody didn't know they had it. See, the doctors fail to do their job and don't test the blood. See, there's lots of different
I got
factors
told-
that went into this.
I got told you can get AIDS by sitting on a dirty toilet.
No, nope, not at all. Okay, but the point is they used the gay thing behind pushing that drug onto the people, so they didn't want people to know that it was created in a military laboratory. I mean, they've been experimenting on human beings for years and years and years and years and years now. And I'm sorry that we're guinea pigs, but hey, what do you do with cattle? You do whatever you want with them. If you want to experiment on them, experiment on them. They've experimented on whole communities without them knowing it.
Yeah.
This stuff has gone on forever and ever. And it's just people's unaware of what's really taking place. And when you really start digging and do your homework, but I don't advise anybody, you have to go want to do this stuff yourself. I've done lots of research and I know what I'm talking about on this area that I'm talking. And it's absolutely factual truth. But you know, population reduction, they scare the kajivas. I get my kicks out of this because they pull this shit every damn time we have a presidential election. They're probably going to stop doing it because I keep telling on them, and they'll have to change it up to fucking not make them so people don't notice it. But the fact is I watched it happen over and over and over. Every time a presidential election came up, here come Planet X, here come the FEMA camps, here comes the FEMA coffins, and here comes the fear porn of World War III.
So you don't believe in Nibiru, Planet X, that there is no planet out there, that there is I mean, I've heard that Nibiru, Planet X is a 12th planet that has that orbit of 3,600 years of an orbit, and apparently it's come back into our solar system apparently, and this is where apparently the story of the astronauts or the reptilians come from that live on our world.
Well, you know, they got our satellites locked down.
Do you believe that there is a planet out there that came in our system a long time ago that smashed a planet that was located in the asteroid belt that was part of the asteroid belt that's now part of the Earth? If you look at it, if you read Zechariah Sitchin's work, he states that this happened, many thousand years ago, millions of years ago, and apparently these beings were like Anunnaki or the space people, or they call them the serpent people, who shift shape into human form. And
I know what you're talking about.
And they came here to get minerals and materials for their planet. And they created a slave species that was humanity. Do you believe that or not?
Well, I think there's possibly some truth to it, but I
do
can't
think
back it. I can't back it up. You know, I told Jay before you come on the show. I says I look at it this way. We
Yeah,
live
we
on
had
a
a whole debate on that.
outside of you moving God's green earth over there. Okay, I told Jay earlier before you come on the show. We had this conversation, and like I told him, I says, look, you're living on a planet that has life forms surrounding
so
you.
many times over, yeah.
Yeah, we have every kind of life form surrounding you. So what's to make you think that there isn't life forms in other galaxies? What's to make you think that maybe there's a life form or more intelligent that actually traveled here? What's to make you think that that's completely nuts? Well, how do you know it's nuts? Maybe we have another life form that's been right here on Earth the whole time that's been living underneath us. We
Yeah.
wouldn't know. I mean, you already know you're surrounded full of other life forms. So the reality is I think there's probably some truth to a lot of this because the Roswell incident, the alien interview, it was very interesting, and I would suggest there's probably some truth to that. Okay, but it's like anything else. If I can't concretely prove it, I suspect it's true. I do what I call sitting on a fence.
Yeah, but
In other words, I
but
don't deny it and I don't say it's not true neither. I
hmm.
keep my eyes open.
Hmm.
How did dinosaurs die out? How do you have dinosaurs that died out years ago? I mean, there's so many things that are missing in our history. It's not funny. So many loopholes. And I mean, we had a great flood. How many 10,000, 11,000 years ago that created something happened. Atlantis went underwater. There was a massive, change in the earth, which came a flood. I mean, I'm still not too sure how that works out. We could be here for hours talking about this sort of subject, but it is
I
interesting to know
can't
about
say
it.
for sure, but I know what you're talking about. And I can only say this. We're not for sure what. I did Atlantis. Now, supposedly they found it.
Plato was a Plato was a great philosopher. I think he was during the Greek era empire, and he said that he came from Atlantis. And some of the scripts that he wrote were torn out of the book that he had written, so no one could really quite read all of it. But he did say that he came from Atlantis, and they left because it went underwater apparently. And all these Roman empires, Egypt Empire, and like Greek and Sumerian, Babylonian, all came from a previous civilization was far more advanced than the current one they're in. That they brought the technology or they brought the knowledge to build structures and build an empire from scratch, but it all came from a past a civilization that was much more advanced than the current one, and they reckon it was Atlantis. And there was also one in the South Pacific. I can't pronounce the word of what it was, but also the Asians, going back in their history of books, that there was a civilization that they came from, or their ancient ancestors came from. Yeah.
Uh,
And it's kind of also how the dinosaurs all died out too as well. How they died out. They died out all suddenly. A massive change happened where society collapsed, and now they started from scratch in the dark ages, and we're kind of going for the same process too as well. Build an empire, maintain a collapse. Then we're going for a collapse state where everything's going backwards. We've been told, it's all good, so fine, but everything's all going backwards, and we're going to end up back in the dark ages. In probably 100 years' time, back in the fire pits and caves, most likely the way it's going. A reset, a reboot.
Well, you know what? Warren and I've talked about that, and I think that's probably the only cure we have for what's going on.
A reset button, absolutely.
Yep. And I hate to be that way, but you know what? I've said before, let the bombs fall.
Mass rapings.
Yeah,
Couldn't pick a better people to do it to.
you know, and people say, well, that's evil, man. You're promoting,
Women,
pushing.
women,
No,
women,
evil is what's
women
going
will.
on, and if nobody
The
wants to
young,
straighten it out, then
the
reset
young,
is the option.
the next generation of females in 2, 3 more generations are not going to sing the same tune no more.
Well, you know,
It's going to turn on them.
now what if they will?
They're finding the sun is coming to an end, my friend.
Yeah. I think it'll be sooner than most people think, you know.
Well, the way it's looking, the way I'm saying it, I hate to say it, but I wish I was not born this time frame, my friend.
Well,
I wish I was not born this time
Jay and
frame.
I were talking about that
I
earlier,
wish
you
I was
know,
born in my grandparents' time because I could have got a decent wife
and we were
back then.
talking about life after death because I know it exists, right? From my own life
I hope it does.
experiences.
I hope it does.
Okay,
Well, it
and
definitely does.
we were talking
I
about
hope it
that, and
does.
we talked a little bit about reincarnation, and I says, in a way, I hope not, because I sure the hell don't want to be reborn back into this crap.
Never do I.
Well, the utopia, if it comes to utopia, hopefully that may come to it. If the final shifts the fan and we start all over again, and we can see ourselves sorted and find a best path where we can start treating each other nicely and respectfully, and we can build a good future for what's to come. But I don't think it's going to happen in this time frame. It's
Yeah,
gonna collapse. It's over. It's a done deal.
Well, I think we're going to see a collapse before that, and I think it's going to be a domino effect. I don't see us going on much longer the way we are.
no,
And
the
I,
current generation are completely.
You reckon by the end of the century it's going to happen?
well, you know,
Maybe
Armageddon's
the
going
next
to
30
happen.
years. The next 30 years, I think.
I would think
I reckon.
if I give a
I'm going to
guess,
suspicion 2065 is
I
the time
would
frame.
my frame would be I would give a guess of anything between now and 2030.
Yeah.
I reckon it's too early. Nah.
I
I don't know.
don't.
Maybe
Okay, but no, your guess is as good as my guess. I can only tell you this:
Oh, piss
there's
off.
no way it can
because the economy
continue to
has to
go
collapse first.
the way it's
Sorry.
going.
There's a fucking wasp coming
You're
at me.
already headed that direction.
David Icke said that of the coming global financial crisis is coming, and we're going to
Yes.
have it's coming around the corner. It's going to happen. A massive collapse enough. So that's going to happen before the collapse happens.
Well, I think the financial collapse will be the catalyst to the actual collapse
I
of
reckon it's going to happen
society.
I reckon it's happening. I reckon it's going to happen in 2026. Going to happen. The collapse will happen then.
Oh, fucking.
Because
Sorry, guys.
every 20 years is a new. Every 20 years, like in 2006, the American president, what's his name? What's his bloody name? George Bush, said we're going for a collapse in the American economy, and that happened just since then. The American system's gone backwards,
Yeah.
and we're slowly starting to feel the effects in Australia. It wasn't straight after it happened in America, but it happened a few years after. We felt the effects, but it wasn't as bad as what America has got. But Australia is behind the ball. We're starting to feel it now, and China is they're doing really well. China, they're
Well,
the one that's
China's the new superpower.
yeah.
China's been designated as the new superpower, so they're going to do well.
They're the
Okay.
only ones who do all the work. The Chinese are working 10, 12 hours a day in the West. We're not slaves yet.
Well,
So-
yeah, they're working 10, 12 hours a day for like 25 cents a day or $1 a day.
Yeah, I mean, we're not slaves yet to that magnitude. But
Okay.
I can
And then
understand.
they're shipping their stuff over here where these asswipes are getting rich off of slave labor. I just wish the people of this world would reach around, pull their hair out of their ass, and wake up and stand up to these criminals, but it ain't going to happen. So I'm all for a reset. If somebody wants to drop the bombs overnight and kill off billions of people, I got nothing against it because as long as people don't want to do the right thing on each other, then they're really, and you want to be this evil on each other, then there is no hope or no life for anybody. Your children already got a future. What kind of future are you giving your children?
I
People want to
know.
say how much they love their children.
I
Bullshit!
know.
You don't love your
I hear
damn
all the
children.
time. Oh, my summer toys are cute. Oh, yeah. The women, they're the worst of all. It's just they just brag, brag, brag. Uh, um, uh, but but I was trying to think of before. I was going to say it before. In the future areas now. In the future, like in 20, 30 years time, and the final. No, we're going for a collapse. And if it does happen in my lifetime, hopefully not.
Yeah.
It's actually going to pay being a man, because being a man, you're gonna have the unwanted, because if you're a woman, when the collapse happens, you're gonna be targeted as easy target. If you're a man, you want to have that stigma onto you. You can kind of like survive and get through the rations and survive in basic need. A woman,
Mm.
man, she's like, oh my god, I want to survive. And she'll be like that, and she's gonna fall for some guy who will butter her up and take advantage of her. You know,
Well,
Yeah.
that's what's
in the
probably gonna
past,
happen.
in the past, it's always been, men who have fought the wars. So, I mean, women have always been a protected class, right? I mean, if a collapse does happen, I could see, men killing other men and trying to recruit harems of women, sort of like in the Mad Max trilogy, right? You had that guy Fury, he had all the women locked in his basement.
Yeah.
I can see something like that happening. I mean, the woman won't get a good time of it. They'll be a slave, a sex slave,
They
essentially.
won't like it.
A lot of
Oh
men
my
will be
goodness.
killed off too.
Killed off in what way? By I mean,
Well, I
that that that
imagine by like
that
paramilitary.
could be an extreme of what's to come. I don't know whether that's going to happen. I don't know if that's going to go that degree. I'm hoping it won't. But
Yeah,
if you live being a lone wolf, if this ever does happen in our lifetime, whatever happens in the near future when I'm not here, and you are a guy out there who's going to go through this shit, you're going to be a lone wolf. You're gonna survive on your own.
I think men will form groups, and like these men who are in the groups will pick off the
What
lone wolf.
tribes?
They're
What
easy picking.
tribes?
Tribes.
Yeah, tribes. Yeah,
Like,
tribes.
around the band, guys who gang up together in groups of men that go out and hunt and kill off other men. Is you trying to say things like that?
Yeah, I suppose so.
In today's society, they like to call that a cult, and they like to attack you just because you dare to live off the grid. They might do a Waco on you. Yeah, you decided to get a group together and started living off the grid and didn't need electricity no more and didn't need this and didn't need that and started surviving off the land and off the grid. They don't like that
Mhm.
because they can't control you. So then they
Yeah.
make up an excuse and lie to the world and say they're a religious cult and that they're evil, and they come and attack you and kill you all and lie to the world because you dared to live
Yeah.
off the grid.
The
Yeah.
military is a real problem. Like they'll kill you off. Like certainly, like the military is a band of men. If shit hits the fan, the military have other, military men they could always team up with and use that in
Yeah.
billions.
I reckon what's going to happen with Islamic, like you're going to have guys
Hmm.
who ex-military, then they're retired, or left the military, they're young, and they might have injury from the military, and I see these Islamic Muslims in their mosque, and they go on a killing spree and start shooting all of them because of what happened in their country, happened to them.
Oh,
It
yeah.
happened in New Zealand. It happened in New Zealand not long ago. It happened in New Zealand, apparently. So somebody in New Zealand went off on a killing spree.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just
Brenton
half a
Tarrant.
month.
I mean,
I don't know the full details. I just heard about it from a couple of guys on YouTube that were talking about the mass killing in the mosque in New Zealand.
um, yeah, I sit on the fence with that. I'm not sure. I mean, he might. I mean, they really used that crisis to take the guns away from the people of New Zealand, and a lot of bad came out of it. But
Well, in America, it's worse because you guys can buy guns. In America.
Oh, they're wanting to get the guns from us.
I wish I could buy a gun here. Maybe I'll move to
They're
America
they're
someday.
trying. They're trying. They've already passed the red flag law, and they're already rounding guns up using mental health as the excuse based on fraudulent military exercise drills. Okay? They're moving it on the manosphere, And that's
Maybe
not
it's
going to affect people over in Australia or the United Kingdom because
Mm.
you guys ain't got guns.
well, some
But,
of us do have
but
guns. I don't want to say this on a live stream, but I might have a gun.
Well, I
But I'm just,
understand that,
well,
but
there's gangs. Do you know there's gangs out there? There's drug laws in Australia. Where I live, there's shit happening where I live, and I mean, you can go on the
and they
dark
got
web.
guns, right? You could buy
They
guns
can,
black
you can go
market,
on the
right?
dark web, and there are
yeah,
people
yeah,
on the dark web that you can connect with through drugs and drug lords who can hook you up with this sort of stuff. And
yeah.
the police are onto it, but they can't. I mean, there's code. It's just part of it. To get in the dark web, you have to go certain. You gotta have certain codes. You gotta pass certain type of of riddles and things you have to go through. You gotta know people to get through the door of the dark web to get to the final package you want to buy. I don't want to do it. I have no interest doing it, but there are guys out there that are doing this shit. Even where I
Oh yeah.
live, and
Yeah, my friend wanted to buy a gun off the dark web, but continue on.
there are this shit is happening, and I mean, when you have a lot of guys out there that are young men that are frustrated and mad with with being unemployed or how the girls are blowing them off and not making time for them,
Yeah.
you're gonna have guys coming together in groups that when times happen, they're gonna go out in revenge and French out.
Yeah.
I see it where I live. There are a couple of guys that can't together, and you can just tell that whatever they're doing there is not good. And no one gives a shit. The normies don't care. They look away. I see it. I go, I'm fucking scared shitless. I try and shut my garage door and not hope to God, I don't get fucking put on, get taken out. And there was
Yeah.
last year there was a gun shooting not far from where I was living in the next suburb, and apparently they were aiming for a certain room where the person had a child, a little baby in that room, and they were aiming for it when they drove past. A drive-by shooting, apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
It's under police investigation now.
my friend wanted to buy a gun to shoot
I
himself.
mean, even I heard the news, that the gangs are getting more violent in where I live, and there has been kidnappings of females, 16-year-old girls that have been kidnapped. They've been listening for 2 weeks. Found her. This is going to get more worse. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not surprised ever.
No, well, why would you be surprised? Let's really look at what's going on and how many men are being pushed out in an over-sexualized world.
Yeah.
So what did you actually think was going to happen? I mean, what you set the conditions in place for this shit to happen to begin with.
It's disgusting.
The powers that be wanted it to happen. They wanted it to happen.
They knew it was going to
Yeah.
happen. They knew.
You're damn right they knew it
They
was
knew.
going to happen. But anyhow, hey guys, we're 3 hours in, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Okay?
All
Okay.
right.
But I appreciate you being here. And wish you'd have been here a little sooner, but hey, you remembered anyhow.
Yeah.
And I wish our time damn spree wasn't so far apart. Because I'd love to talk with you more, Joe, but our times are so fucked up.
I know.
Well,
But
I'm down under. I'm down under.
But I'm around on Saturday nights. If you're ever around and want to talk, I'll be here.
Yeah. Okay. Well. It's just because today I gotta take all the fucking green waste to the tip, and I gotta get my food supply. And I got up late, so I had late. Well, I got to bed late last night, so that's why I couldn't really make early. The time I said to come in on, the time I said to come in on a certain time, I couldn't make it because I had to go out and do my shit. But now can we just? I don't know, because when my mother's here, she gets upset. So she's not here now. She's out. Okay, so I could come in and do a and talk and not hold back what I'm saying, because I say certain things, she get fired up and come in the room and start telling me off.
Yeah.
So I gotta make. So usually by about 11 o'clock, she's out of the house doing her own thing during the Saturday, Sunday. I still recommend it this time because there's no other time to do it for. it's best for you and myself. You know.
Yep. So that's
Mhm.
fine with me. If you want to use the same time frame and you want to come back up again next week, if you want me to give you an extra hour, I can do that. It will help.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Mm.
Well,
So,
extra hour what way?
so an extra hour for me is 9 o'clock at night. But if it's Saturday night for me, I'm fine with it. I can't do it on a Sunday, which is a Monday for you, because I have to be up so early to get my son to work. So,
Mm-hmm.
but Saturday nights work for me, and that's always Sunday morning for you. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
if 9 o'clock p.m. my time, which would be noon your
12.
time,
12.
works for you and your mother's not there,
12.
yeah, 12
My
o'clock
time.
your time,
Yeah.
okay, then I
Yeah.
would say I'm game for that. Now, Jay here, that's up to him. That's going to be like 3 a.m. in the morning for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's 5 a.m. here right now. You know, I'm prepared for that.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
so
I've
then
enjoyed it.
everybody's here is discussed it. So if you want to do it, we can come up again next Saturday if you want.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
we
yeah.
should make it a weekly occurrence or maybe a monthly occurrence. You know, I really enjoyed tonight. I enjoyed talking to
Well,
you.
I think for you fellas and guys who are going through this life, I think it's a coping mechanism. It's oxygen for them to understand you're not alone out there, and there are
Yeah,
guys out there that
Right, yeah.
they're going
it
through the
is.
same shit. It's a way to cope through your isolation in your outcast treatment. You know, it does, because the news doesn't support this topic. So where else
No,
can you go besides the radio? The radio don't do that. So where are you going to go? YouTube.
there you go. Well, so then why don't we shoot for next week and we'll do it 9 o'clock Central
At
Standard
12.
Time and
Okay, one time.
10 o'clock
Okay.
Eastern and
And Jack
12
will be there
noon
too as
for
well.
him and 3 a.m.
And Jack
for
Jack too
Jay
as
there.
well.
So I guess
Are you
you.
gonna, yes or
Hey,
no?
it's getting daylight where you're at. I see that 5 a.m. in the morning there.
Yeah, man, I was attacked by wasps half an hour ago, so they're waking up.
Oh,
Are you
shit.
gonna, so you're gonna be all on together, yes?
Yep. And we'll
Yeah.
just
Can we get like Warren perhaps then? Warren?
if
Warren?
Warren's able, I talked to him earlier today and I invited him, but he had things planned with his brother. So,
I would love to talk to the guy. I would love to talk to that guy, man. Seriously.
but
Just
Warren does
Yeah.
like to sit up all night. So I'll tell you what. But with us
yeah.
doing it a little bit later, I'll be talking to Warren during the week. I'll see if I can encourage Warren to come in.
Oh yeah.
Just pull it in,
I
pull it
I
in.
love Warren to come on in. You know, me and him were talking about how men have no platforms. You know, the left and the right and the centrists.
Yes.
They all hate men. You know, there's only like a handful of people standing up for men, and you know,
So
Bill's.
I'll see what
on-
I can't do to see if I can't get Warren in here with us. And we'll shoot for
Yeah.
next week, and I'll try to get Warren with us as well.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay, guys? And with that,
Okay,
we'll get
Chief.
out of here, and you
All
have a
right.
good one.
Bye. Take
Well,
care, Bill and Joe.
Yep.
Guys,
You take care.
Later, guys.
thanks,
I'll see
Joe.
you soon. Bye-bye.
See you soon, man. Bye.
See you soon.